and therefore we're going to go ahead and share it with you. We don't have a lot that I can tell you. But as of this morning, ICE did indeed take into custody one of our police recruits who was we hired and was in the police academy at the time. We've had conversations with ICE regarding this. There was no struggle involved in any of it. The person was actually, the recruit was taken into custody without any incident whatsoever. So what you would want to know about this person is that on our end, when we were doing the hiring process, there was nothing that was in the packet that would have us have a reason to believe that this person did not have legal status.
Welcome back.
There is some question that may have.
I was playing the Hodge twins. They kept on saying, I guess, bad words. So they stopped that video that I was live streaming. So I got to fight that because that's crazy.
Developed later, but there was a signed order by a judge for his removal back in December. We hired him way before that.
Boy. So you got to talk about a story that is becoming more and more and more common in this country involving illegal immigrants who apparently can be whatever they want to be in this country, right? Even if they're here illegally, they can be whatever, including becoming a superintendent. You guys remember that story about Ian Roberts, the immigrant, the illegal, who was allowed to become a superintendent out in Iowa? Okay, yeah, that guy. Yeah, he has now pleaded guilty to his charges.
Des Moines School Superintendent Ian Roberts appears ready to plead guilty to a pair of federal charges. Immigration agents arrested him in September, and tomorrow he will appear in federal court to accept a plea deal. WHO 13's Katie Kaplan is following the developments. Now, Roberts could end up spending years in prison. Up to a quarter of a century, Samantha, but the date next to his signature shows he signed a plea deal today that could prevent that. He signed it at the Polk County Jail, where he's been incarcerated for more than 3 months now.
Just want to say hello. Wish you all a happy first day.
Former Des Moines Public Schools Superintendent Ian Roberts plans to plead guilty to both of his federal charges in court on Thursday. That, according to a newly filed 15-page plea agreement. Roberts was arrested by ICE agents September 26th after allegedly leading law enforcement on a pursuit. In his vehicle, investigators say they found a loaded handgun, fixed blade knife, and $3,000 in.
Thanks for joining in. I was going live, and the Hodge twins said some bad words in the video, and they took it down. So I got to appeal this shit. It's not my fault. Other than that, let's continue. Like and subscribe, everybody.
In cash, a search warrant executed at his Metro home, later turning up even more guns. After months of scrutiny over his personal and professional life, the court filing shows Roberts now admits to knowingly and intentionally providing false information about his immigration status on his DMPS application, being aware he was unlawfully present in the U.S., and of being in possession of multiple firearms, which at some point crossed state lines. That admission, an aggravated felony, and what one former federal prosecutor says is likely what made it hard to challenge his removal from the country.
Those are very serious offenses, and it could make it very difficult unless there have been some type of extenuating circumstances that are being taken into account.
Roberts has agreed to forfeit his firearms and could be deported immediately after his sentence
Get
is
him out of there if
served,
he bogus.
with enhanced charges
Like and
if he
subscribe,
returns
everybody.
to the
Like and
US
subscribe.
illegally. In exchange for his guilty plea, the federal government has agreed not to bring additional charges.
And Samantha, the big question now is, what will he be sentenced to? The judge will have full discretion on that. And while Roberts may have to answer questions under oath in court tomorrow, he will not be able to contest the sentencing at any point. He faces up to 20 years in prison and $500,000 in fines. It still just unfolds, the questions, the answers, and the shock of it all. Katie, thank you for that.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Like and subscribe. Let's grow together.
But you can also be a police officer as well, too, right? You can arrest people for breaking the law, American citizens for breaking the law, while breaking the law as a legal immigrant, right? Apparently, that is a thing, okay? We've already covered stories about this before, how ICE has arrested illegal immigrants who have been a part of police departments who were hired. We have another one out in New Orleans. This one is stunning because this guy slipped through all of the cracks, right? And I want to talk about it because I have a hard time believing that nobody knew that this dude was here illegally. So without further ado, let's get into it.
We've actually received contradicting information regarding whether Larry Tema was legally allowed to work in the United States, and still very limited information is available.
What's up, John? What up?
Wednesday,
What up?
January 28th,
Good morning.
NOPD recruit Larry Tema was taken into
Good
ICE
morning,
custody.
good morning.
The 46-year-old is from Cameroon and, according to ICE, originally entered the country legally in 2015 on a visitor visa. ICE says in 2016 he was granted conditional residency after marrying a U.S. citizen. Records WWL Louisiana obtained show a petition for divorce was filed in late 2016 in Georgia. We also obtained a second petition for divorce filed in early 2023 from a different marriage.
Yeah, so likely fraud, right? Let's be real. So you come over to the United States of America on a visitor's visa, and then all of a sudden you're married, right? You're married already, and he was granted a conditional stay. And then you get divorced almost immediately. Again, sounds like fraud, right? Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
ICE says in 2022, Tema's application for permanent residency was denied due to fraud. According to ICE, Tema was, quote, ordered to appear in immigration court 3 times, but continued to disregard U.S. law, but not showing up. They say that resulted in an immigration judge ordering him to be removed.
It's
in
cool.
absentia.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Like and
ICE claims
subscribe.
he did not have a valid
Thank
work
you.
authorization. Documents obtained by WWL Louisiana shows application to NOPD submitted on February 26, 2025 is marked yes under legal right to work in the United States.
Wow.
Plus, NOPD says Tema passed a criminal background check and cleared the federal E-Verify system, which confirms whether someone is authorized to work in the United States.
There was nothing that was in the packet that would have us have reason to believe that this person did not have legal status.
ICE maintains otherwise, saying he was recruited by NOPD and, quote, issued a gun despite the fact that he could not legally carry a weapon, quote, as an undocumented immigrant. Louisiana law includes an exception to concealed carry permits, requiring an applicant, quote, not be an illegal alien in the United States. The recent permitless carry bill passed seems to maintain that requirement. When asked about Tema's detainment Tuesday, Senator Bill Cassidy said he didn't know much, but said immigration crackdown efforts should be focused on criminals.
If they focus
What's up, John? What's up?
on criminals, we're going to be better off.
Thanks for joining the
If not
chat.
focus on people who are criminals, the American people seem to be having second thoughts.
Well, look, I don't care who's having second thoughts, right? I don't care about second thoughts, okay? I don't care about squishy Republicans, right? These moderates who are like, oh, I don't know, we should deport the non-criminals. Newsflash. They're all criminals, right? Because they entered the country illegally, okay? That's what people got to understand. If you allow some of them to stay, then you have to allow all of them to stay, okay? Do you think it's fair to deport some and to not deport others, right? I don't think that's fair. In this situation, the response should be nobody who's in the country illegally should be working as a police officer. The response should not be about
That's crazy.
whether or not ICE is deporting the violent illegals versus the ones that are not violent, right? Because again, they're all in the country illegally, right? So they're all criminals. Okay, they all committed the crime of coming to the country illegally. But specifically when it comes to this guy, for whatever reason, he slipped through the cracks. I have a hard
That's
time
crazy, y'all.
that the New Orleans Police Department, if they did all their due diligence, that they allowed this guy to slip through the cracks without picking up anything, right, at all. That the system was completely clear. In fact, I don't understand why is it that when you're talking about hiring somebody to be a police officer, why they don't do some type of check for citizenship in the first place, right? I think that should be a basic check. Hey, are you a citizen, right? I mean, you talk about becoming a police officer. Are you a citizen of this country, right? Not just if you're here legally or illegally.
Let's get to 1,000. Like and subscribe. Subscribe.
If you are a citizen, it does not make sense for people who are not citizens to be able to police citizens. That doesn't make sense, right? That does not make sense at all. So again, in my opinion, I just think that if this dude can slip through the cracks, imagine how many others have slipped through the cracks. Again, we already did a story about the guy out in Iowa, the superintendent. Okay, he was getting hired left and right, became a whole superintendent. Nobody knew he was in the country illegally. Same thing with this guy. Police officer recruit. Had ICE not caught him, this guy would have been out arresting American citizens as an illegal, right? Crazy.
NOPD released a response to the recent comments from ICE saying, quote, recent statements regarding recruit Larry Tema are misleading. The New Orleans Police Department verified Mr. Tema's employment eligibility through ICE's E-Verify system prior to hiring and was never notified of any ICE detainer. New Orleans is not a sanctuary city, and NOPD does not control jail operations or detainer decisions, which fall under the sheriff's office. Any claim that NOPD knowingly violated the law is false.
You have had to jump through a lot of hoops to try and get what little information that you had for this. Talk about that process a little bit.
Yeah, so we found out last week that an NOPD recruit was detained. Immediately, everyone in the newsroom started emailing, asking questions, reaching out to DHS. Usually it takes about 24 hours for something in the system to show up. We tried again, still until today, really after 2 o'clock was when we got that final confirmation from DHS.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people have a lot of questions about this. They were volunteering to serve the city of New Orleans, and now all these questions and this detention, and, it's one to follow.
Yeah, we're still going to ask questions.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
subscribe.
I got questions. I don't believe the New Orleans Police Department. I believe that they knew. I don't think there's any way they could have done their due diligence the way that it's supposed to be done, the way that it should be done, and not known that this person was in the country illegally, right? ICE knew for some reason, right? If ICE knew, then there definitely should have been a way for the New Orleans Police Department to know, okay? So I think somebody's lying here, okay? And I think it's the New Orleans Police Department because, again, this guy is in the country illegally. And he should not have been issued a firearm. Honestly should not have been issued a lot of the stuff that he got, but this is what is allowed in this country, right? That's what allowed. If you are an illegal immigrant, you can get access to welfare. We talk about, healthcare, free healthcare. You can become a superintendent. You can become a police officer. You can probably run for office too, right? In some cases, yeah, you can do whatever you want, right? You can do whatever you want because this is what we've allowed. Okay, due to the fact that we just don't enforce our laws the way that we should, right? And then you got all these people boo-hoo, whining, and crying because you have an administration actually trying to enforce the law. You can't have illegals working as police. You can't do that, right? They can't be out here arresting law-abiding citizens when they're criminals. They're in the country illegally. It doesn't make sense. It's insanity. So, if you know what you got to say, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective.
To show how much propaganda is actually out there. Like, it is absolutely wild.
Surfing Game and Surfing Ninja. Thanks for joining the chat. Thank you.
Much of propaganda.
Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Has attempted to run with. And, this is what we're up against on a daily basis. And obviously, there are days and times where I come on here and I start debunking things, but it's so much stuff out there. I can't debunk everything, right? Or at least if I did, it'd have to be like a little short debunking and move on to the next one because it is just a non-stop assault on the American population with just propaganda from the Democrat Party. That's all it is. And of course, they're doing it for power and control, trying to play on people's emotions, but we know that. So anyway, I want to jump into this clip and check it out with you all a little bit because this is some crazy stuff, man. Brace yourself. Let's jump into it.
Now listen, I'm about to waterboard you with this. If you do not believe you're in the middle of a propaganda war, I love you and you can be as mad at me as you want. You're wrong. Okay? So listen, I'm going to rapid fire these. Here we go. Right here. Number one. No, this is not a picture of an 8-year-old girl who died in ICE custody under the Trump administration's heartless dictatorship. It happened in 2023 as reported by the New York Times under the Biden administration, but now it's getting millions of views.
Hold on, I want to go back to that.
That's crazy.
Detained Reyes Alvarez died in government custody. She had sickle cell and a congenital heart disease, but couldn't access timely and adequate medical care. Senate Judiciary Democrats. That's who posted this. The Senate Judiciary Democrats. And then Shannon Watts posted abolish ICE.
That's crazy.
Goodness gracious.
8-year-old girl who died in ICE custody under the Trump administration's heartless dictatorship. It happened in 2023, as reported by the New York Times under the Biden administration. But now it's getting millions of views and being labeled as happening now. Number 2, no, this is not a photo of a 5-year-old put in a cage because of the current administration calls people illegal. Nope. Snopes reports after millions of views, it was discovered that was a photo taken at a protest staged in front of Dallas City Hall. The parents brought the kid to the protest. He was in the cage for about 30 seconds, and he cried because he couldn't figure out how to get out. Number 3, no, this is not a video of ICE agents, quote-unquote, drive-by macing people for no reason. That went mega viral.
Hold on. I've been sent video from the end of the ICE raids at the Zips on 32nd and Chia. It shows protesters on the sidewalk impeding no one, getting drive-by maced by an ICE agent from a truck as it rolls down the road. Hard to see how such tactics are justified. That's what this person posted.
Viral. I watched the entire video myself. They were throwing things at law enforcement vehicles, and the guy maced the guy that was throwing things at law enforcement vehicles. Number 4, no, this is not a picture of a woman whose hand was shot off by ICE agents firing rounds at mourners.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I think she picked up a flashbang, and it went off in her hand. Actually, no, I think this is a guy.
I think it was a guy, right?
Was claimed, and it got millions of views. Nope, she was rioting and obstructing law enforcement, and as you can see right here, she picked up a flashbang before it detonated and injured her own hand, blew part of it off.
Yeah, okay, so that's what it was. I could have sworn I saw a video clip that said that this might have been a guy. But anyway, either way, this person picked up a flashbang, thought it would be a great idea, and it went off in their hand. And then this person posted, ICE fired less than lethal rounds at an Alex Purdy memorial and severely injured an American Indian woman's hand. Let that sink in. They used impact.
A little slow on the throw. That's funny.
Killed. This is state violence. What? They let out a flashbang and this chick picked it up.
Thank you. Let's grow together. Thank you.
Goodness gracious, man.
Subscribe. Let's get to 1,000. Why not?
See what I mean by how much propaganda we're actually being fed? Yeah. Crazy work.
As was claimed, and it got millions of views. Nope, she was rioting and obstructing law enforcement, and as you can see right here, she picked up a flashbang before it detonated and injured her own hand, blew part of it off. Next one, no, this is not a picture of a 5-year-old boy arrested by ICE. As reported, the boy's father abandoned him while he was fleeing arrest. That is a picture of ICE agents following protocol and not leaving a 5-year-old alone in freezing weather out on the street.
Yeah, that was actually recently, over the past couple of weeks or so.
Don Trump, thank you, man. I'm trying my best with it, man. Thank you so much.
ICE detains 5-year-old Minnesota boy as he came home. What? So even of course we know the news is lying. They lie all the time. But yeah, this is a news article.
As reported, the boy's father abandoned him while he was fleeing arrest. That is a picture of ICE agents following protocol and not leaving a 5-year-old alone in freezing weather out on the street.
And of course, it's a situation of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If ICE just left the kid out there, if ICE just left the kid alone, right, didn't bother him, and then they got his dad and ICE left, then everybody's like, oh, ICE left the 5-year-old kid outside in the cold by himself. But then since they held him to keep him safe, it's a problem if they do that too. Goodness gracious. You can't make this stuff up, man.
Next one. No, this is not a picture of a baby that was tear gassed by ICE while his parents were on their way to a basketball game.
A baby was hospitalized after being tear gassed by ICE. The family was not illegal and not even protesting, just driving home from their son's basketball game. Just can't be reformed. Time to abolish ICE. This is... You guys probably recognize this name. Shri Thanadar. Congressman Shri Thanadar. Yeah, the guy I believe he's from Detroit area. Congressman, the guy that killed all the beagles. Allegedly, of course.
Allegedly.
And go to the next picture. You
Thanks
can
for joining
literally
in.
see
Good
a video
morning.
that was
Thank you.
uncovered later. His parents lied. They're on video at a violent protest, and they left their baby alone in a car for 45 minutes at a riot that they helped cause, and they forced tear gas to be deployed. Next one. This is not a picture of an innocent restaurant worker being arrested by heartless ICE agents. As you can see right here, it is a picture of an illegal child rapist who fled into a restaurant to avoid arrest and seems to have a knife in his hand, if you look closely. Next one. This is not a picture of ICE ripping a disabled woman from her car while she was screaming that she was trying to get to the doctor, as was claimed and seen by millions of people. I watched the entire video. She was intentionally obstructing ICE officers by blocking a road. She was asked by 4 different ICE officers to move. She did not comply, and so they were forced to remove her from her vehicle. Next one. This is not a picture of a mother whose son was gunned down for no reason by quote-unquote racist ICE officers. Nope. Actually, it was discovered this kid was firing an AR-style rifle into the air in the middle of an apartment complex. He was asked to stop by law enforcement, who self-identified as law enforcement, and not only did he not comply, he is reported as turning his firearm on the ICE agent and firing a shot in the agent's direction. In fact,
that's stupid.
The kid's dad admitted in a video interview.
Thank you. Let's get to 1,000. Thank you, guys.
Something illegal with a
Let's
gun,
grow together. Why not? Let's get to 1,000
Jeez.
and beyond.
And of course, ICE are the bad guys, right? ICE are the bad guys. This guy's just firing off rounds and ended up allegedly sending one.
Let's get 30 subs. 30 subs. Why not?
ICE reacted to it. You know, they protected themselves. ICE is all of a sudden the bad folks. Man, we got. And here's the other thing too. We got to start telling people the truth. Y'all ever saw, where an individual unfortunately passed away for whatever reason, and the individual's parents are like, "It was such a good kid. It was such a."
I know Bruce, man. Good morning. I know Bruce, man. I appreciate it.
That person was a demon. That person was a terror to the community. Whenever you saw that person, you knew trouble was following. Right? We got to start telling people the truth. Like, bro, no, your son was not a saint. Your son was not an angel. Your son was not nice. It was actually the complete opposite. That mother lover was a demon. Okay? He allegedly pine boxed two other people, a couple years back. Whenever he came around, everybody left because it was some trouble. Your son was not a nice guy. But of course, people, yeah, your son was so amazing. Like, bro, no, he was not.
Yeah.
We got to start telling.
I stand with ICE. Thank you, ICE.
It's a tragic situation when anybody loses their life, but yeah, we got to stop that because it's creating stuff like what you just saw there. The man allegedly shot in ICE's direction, but he's the saint and ICE is the devil somehow, some kind of way. I don't know. Tell people the truth, man. Tell them the truth.
Next one. No, that is not an innocent man. This right here. There was not an innocent man that was shot for no reason by ICE agents in Arizona. Next one. Actually, even the Associated Press reports the guy was firing rounds at law enforcement helicopters and law enforcement individuals, and they returned defensive fire.
Jeez.
Next one. No, this is not a picture of a federal agent, quote unquote, terrorizing an innocent observer by pointing a gun at his face. Nope. If you go watch the video, I took these screenshots. The guy was obstructing law enforcement on purpose. He initiated contact with the law enforcement agent and pulled the gun, tried to pull it out of his hands. Then the muzzle of what appears to be a gun briefly flashes in front of his face because he pulled it out of the agent's hands, and it was pepper spray. It was not a rifle. Next one. No, this is not a New Yorker article about a quote-unquote
subscribe, everybody. Subscribe.
Who was shackled and deported for no reason. Whoopsie-daisy. He had multiple felonies, including armed robbery and murder. I repeat, murder. So his citizenship was revoked, and law enforcement was carrying out the warrant for his arrest. Next one.
What they say, out of sight, out of mind.
This is some crazy stuff, man. This is some crazy stuff, and that's why I said I wanted to check this out with you all because, man, is this stuff wild. Absolutely wild. The number of things that I believe his name is Josh Howerton. Howerton. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably absolutely butchering it, but yeah. Matter of fact, let me throw him up on the screen. Let me double check, make sure this is actually his profile. Yeah, this is him. So shout out to Josh. This is his X account right here. Pause it if you need to. Oh, apparently he's a pastor. Wow. Okay, at Lake Point Church. Nice. Lake Point, Dallas, Texas. Shout out to Josh Howerton. Give him a follow real quick. There we go. Yes, sir. All right. So yeah, like I said, pause it if you need to. Give him a follow. Let him know I sent you. All right. Let him know I sent you. But yeah, man, this is just absolutely wild stuff to see and hear. And that's just one guy, right? Just sitting down and just rattling off over the course of that. I mean, that lasted 4.5 minutes right there. And how many things did he just debunk? I mean, just like that. I mean, a constant bombardment of just lies and BS, right? All to manipulate the American population, right? For power. That is it. That is all. Because Democrats know, right? Democrat politicians know and understand if they told the truth, they never win. They would never win, ever. That's one of the things that's also mind-boggling to me, like how or why they continue on with these silly policies. But man, I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you all. I just thought it was super, super interesting just to listen to this guy rattle off. I mean,
Ilhan, Omar, gosh, she looks nervous.
Congresswoman, can I ask you your response to Tom Homan saying you're under investigation?
Thank you, BJ. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Possible immigration violations. Just any response you have to what he's saying in the public.
Almost there. Almost at 1,000.
So you don't think they would find anything? Why do you think they keep bringing this up in the media?
They're sick. You know what's sick? When you don't pay your taxes. $403,000 worth of taxes and your husband chose not to pay them. I'm sorry, but that's sick, okay? And why isn't that getting any press? Why isn't the mainstream media all over this? Why do they give her a pass? Oh, because she's going to tell them they're a bunch of racists if they dare to go after any of this. Well, guess what? I'm not afraid. Believe me. I've taken on a lot worse than Ilhan Omar. I've taken on the entire system and lived to tell about it, all right? So this weirdo that she's married to, who doesn't pay his taxes and gets sued multiple times for, wait for it, dun-dun-dun, fraud. He has been sued multiple times for fraud. And somehow she marries him on the very day that she announces the $250 million for feeding our future.
Insane.
Third marriage, clearly not much of a Muslim, if you ask me. Other than the hairdo, or lack of, shall we say. She's mad. She's like, how dare you? You can't come after me.
How you doing, Steve? Thanks for joining in, Steve.
Totally
Thanks for joining in.
You can't go after me.
Subscribe, everybody.
If you dare to say anything about me, it means that you're trying to say that because I'm Somalian, I can't live the American dream. Huh.
And so I know that there's always been an attempt to smear my character, to smear the character of the community that I ethnically belong to. There's always this sort of sad reference to the fact that I'm a refugee. It seems like these people seem to have a problem with the fact that I am living the American dream. Yes, I was once a refugee. Yes, I did survive war. Yes, I did come to the United States when I was 12 years old, not speaking English, but I did make it to the United States of Congress.
Wow.
I love it. Steve Forbes had the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's not the American dream. It's like
you see it. You guys are growing with me. You guys are growing with me.
The Capone version of the American dream.
Thank you. You guys are growing with me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Timmy Minette is apparently quite the entrepreneur, you see, because he claims to have 60 billion. That's B with a capital B. I underlined it. Can you see it there? Right by my my hand, I'm pointing towards.
She needs to go.
$60 billion
Damn.
asset under management, AUM. That means assets under management, and that would make him like
Talking about Trish or Ilhan?
largest firms in the country. He does not have $60 billion under management. Okay, so that in and of itself is fraudulent for him to put that onto his website. And for him to be collecting money from anyone, allegedly for investments, I would just say is super sus, because he doesn't have any of the SEC certification to be doing this in the first place. And he's lying. He's lying about his $60 billion asset under management. So, like, this is concerning, guys. It's very, very
concerning.
Homer knows it.
Here's what we know. She
Thank
went
you.
from zero to anywhere between $6 and $30 million in a year. I don't know many people that go from 0 to 30 without having a legitimate business.
And there is no legitimate business. I mean,
it doesn't exist, allegedly.
A winery that has no land and no grapes and no website and no office. The company that has 60 billion with a B assets under management, operating in 80 countries. We'd have to assume one would be Somalia. 80 countries, 60 billion assets under management. I mean, wow, that's pretty, aggressive for him to just get right out there on the website and make up, like that. Okay, that's really. But this is the woman who says, the goddamn United States and everything that she says. She really doesn't like this country, if you ask me. She's, as the president pointed out, always trying to tell us how we should do it better. And apparently, doing it better means involving all of these people, the Democrats, the Democrat Party. This was great. In New York Post,
almost there.
You had the ambassador to China, Max Baucus. Under Obama, you had the ambassador.
Oh yeah, get Omar up out of here. Get her ass up out of here.
These people that were big time Dems that were on Timmy Minet's website where he was managing $60 billion. Do not forget that. Do not forget that, okay? Like, that would make him one of the largest firms in the world. That's how you know it's fake. It is totally fake. He's got this private venture capital firm, which many people now believe was basically a money laundering operation. Yeah, a money laundering shop. That's what she was doing. And so these are why you're seeing these accusations of fraud. I mean, he had a history of them. Just to be really clear, there were several lawsuits against him for stealing or misappropriating funds. He had a cannabis business.
Damn.
He basically had to settle.
Pass the weed.
$1.2 million.
This guy here's something else.
This guy's a complete charlatan. And then, the wine business that wasn't, they had an investor that said, I'm going to put $300,000 with you. And they promised him a 200,000% return. It should have been the tip off, of course, but he thinks, it's Timmy Minet with all his fancy Democrats on his website, and he's managing $60 billion. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, that didn't end so well. Apparently the money did get repaid to the guy. As we said, the cannabis business didn't go so well either. You had some of those funds that were returned in installments, $1.86 million in 2022. I wonder where they got the money to return. And by the way, what were they doing with the money?
What were you doing?
So well, right? I mean, this is bad stuff. So why should we be concerned? We should be concerned because they had this LLC where allegedly millions of dollars is going through it. And they even come out on her darn disclosure form saying that it's worth as much as $30 million. I mean, that is wild. You know what? I just got an email from Steve Forbes. We've been talking about Steve Forbes a lot on the show. I'm going to respond to him and say yes. We're going to get him on Friday, guys. So I told you I was reaching out to Steve.
Subscribe.
It's perfect. I'm going to tell him.
Good morning.
Send the link. Here, this is how you know we're live. I will send the link. I told you yesterday, we played some sound from Steve, and he was just hysterical, right? Because Steve was on with my friend Elizabeth McDonald's great show. Wonderful, wonderful woman. And she's over at Fox Business. I just love her. And she had Steve on, and Steve was like, what I think this is, I don't think you don't have to be that smart to figure this one out. This is what you call money laundering. So I know she had him on for a little brief time. I want to get him on and really dig in because he knows how this stuff works. I'm going to see if I can find this for you. Okay, here we go. Steve Forbes, watch.
She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started.
Thanks, Outlaw, for subscribing. Thank you, Outlaw. Appreciate it.
So, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses where they come in. She had under $1,000 in net worth.
Right. Obama got rich being a president.
Now they're multimillionaires. Is there money?
All these politicians become rich.
And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own. Where did that come from? Where's the wine there?
Subscribe, everybody. Subscribe. Almost at 1,000.
Stuff here, and that's
Let's get that together.
American Dream. Her version of the American Dream is the Al Capone version of the American Dream. Tony Soprano version of the American Dream, and that is steal it from the taxpayers. And so there's a lot of stuff here. And so when somebody cloaks themselves in the American Dream, and so you have numbers like this from minus 1,000 to 40 million, you know something is not right.
Anyway, so Steve's going to join us on the show, and forgive me, I think I typed that in the message. Just make sure you tune in on Friday. We'll make sure. Actually, maybe, we'll do that Friday, or we might even do it early next week. We'll see. We'll play with that. But anyway, we're going to get him on, and we'll talk some more about it because I'm not going to give up on this, guys. I actually want this all to be exposed, and I want to see all the financial records. I'm like Homer, I want to see every single bit of it. And I think that the public deserves that at this point, because this guy that she married is doing something funny. Again, $60 billion under asset management. That would make him one of the largest asset management firms in the country, one of the largest private equity, but venture capital firms. There is no way that can possibly be true. And so if he lied about that, what else did he lie about? If he lied about having a winery, what else did he lie about? If he lied about what he could return to cannabis investors and then had to pay them all back, what else did he lie about? I have to think that she's not completely immune to this. And I would have to think that given the feeding our nation, that timing
that's what kicked it off.
That coincided with their marriage is indeed very significant. I'll put it that way. I also think that this payday that he got, how did Timmy Minette manage to make more than any campaign manager for a U.S. presidential election? Just running those little Minneapolis campaign for his wife. I think it's funny. He was making a lot before. $878,000 he was making over the span of 2 years between 2018 and 2020, and now he's up to $2.8 million during the 2020 campaign. But by then they were married, right? So you understand how sus that is, because she's effectively paying herself. Because where do you think the money comes back to at the end of the day? The family. So she pays him $2.8 million to run her campaign. This is far more than anybody has ever made running a congressional campaign. That's like an all-time high. I don't think anybody's ever made that much money. So what the heck is going on? And they looked into this. Don't forget, they looked into this and they decided not to pursue it. Now, why would that be? Oh, wow. Thank you so much for the generosity. That definitely helps the algorithm. Cece Surin, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for that. You guys are all so generous. I really, just even being here and giving me your time and your likes and your commentary is so important. But yeah, it all helps the algorithm, every bit of it. So Timmy Minette, again, making a fortune off of his wife's campaign, and that is not normal. Okay, it's just not normal. Remember how everybody was all up in arms because there was a sweetener deal
subscribe.
Joe Biden's campaign manager where he was going to get $4 million, and they're like, whoa, that's a lot of money for a campaign manager to make for a presidential election. So if you're saying it's a lot for him to get $4 million running a presidential campaign, that's if you win. How does this guy get nearly $3 million for running a little congressional campaign out of Minneapolis? Well, I think I know how, and I think you know how, and I think where our heads are going probably simultaneously together, I'll articulate it for those that, have to catch up here, is probably the right direction. So think of how this might work. You say, hey, Timmy, I want to support Ilhan Omar. And do you think if I cough up this amount of money that maybe she'll do a little something for my mental health clinic that I operate above my Somali restaurant. Not to pick on anyone, but that's the most recent example. Some 21 days ago, she was even trying to still get $1 million for a friend in the Minneapolis region who had a Somali restaurant who claimed to have a mental health clinic above the kitchen. It's all happening as Nick Shirley's out there pounding the pavement, knocking on doors and finding out there's no kids inside all the daycares that are getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, enough already, right? I think we know exactly how it works. And I want every single last detail to come out. And you know what? I want the money back. I want all of our money back. And if she can't give it back, and even if she can, she deserves to be in prison. Full stop. One of the things that I have always loved about this country, and in reporting around the world, specifically in Latin America, I used to think, gosh, we are so lucky because we don't have that kind of corruption. And in Latin America, it really feels banana republic. Because I would say to people, well, why does anybody go into politics down here? Well, the money, because all the politicians are loaded. Every single one of them makes tons and tons and tons of money. Say what you want about Donald Trump. At least he had a company, and his kids worked in that company, and they had a thriving business long before he ever became the president of the United States of America. Unlike Barack Obama, Barack and his sad, sorry excuse for a wife, that poor Michelle Obama, who seems to hate her life and hate her husband and just hate her own self for existing, right? I mean, have you ever seen anybody more miserable? Now she's got a podcast where she can lament all her troubles all day long. Nobody watches, nobody listens, but, don't tell her that. Oh, they made a lot of money. I mean, so much so that they can afford the house in Florida. Forgive me, not Florida. Why would they ever want to be in Florida? In Hawaii. And they have that beautiful place out on Martha's Vineyard. Community organizer. That's all he was. And now he's running it all the way to the bank. I like people who actually have worked in business first and who have made their own living. I think that's a heck of a lot more credible than the likes of Barack Obama. So Barack Obama is our example of a politician. Joe Biden is another. Never made any money outside of politics, and that money that his son could rake in, and his brother
Mike Obama, right, Big Mike,
through their various firms to work on behalf of
allegedly
internationally, while never actually registering as foreign lobbyists. But let me tell you, you don't make $600,000 for a board job. Just doesn't happen, okay? $600,000 for a board job? You know what? That does not happen. That doesn't exist. But they were paying basically.
Let's do it, you guys. Let's get to 1,000. 30 people in the chat. 30 subs. Let's get it. Let's get 30 subs. 30 subs. Why not?
I held up that money because I wanted them to fire that prosecutor. The prosecutor that was looking into the now defunct energy company, Burisma, that Hunter Biden was being paid to lobby for and quote unquote protect. I mean, it's all so disgusting. So this lady is perhaps the most disgusting of them all. The fraud queen. Yeah, I want every bit of this to come out, and I want to know exactly what she did, and I'm not going to...
You got to sub because I'm a MAGA. Just sub because you in the chat and enjoy what's going on in the chat. I'm a MAGA, you know what I'm saying? You got to be MAGA because you're in my chat. It's all good. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not here to make you guys become MAGA. I'm just here to share information and just being who I am, Deontay. I appreciate you guys being in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Here, every single day, every little last nuance that comes out on this Ilhan Omar case, because I want to see the records and I want to see exactly how they accounted for all of this. It is good to have you here. Thank you so much for being here on the Trish Regan Show. Make sure you subscribe, share, like. I love seeing your comments. Sometimes they can be a little distracting because they're just so funny. Sometimes I burst out laughing when I'm watching a soundbite. Anyway, you guys are great. Again, thanks for all you do to make this a success. Let me know what you think should happen to Ilhan Omar. Does she belong in jail? Should she be deported, as the president has suggested?
Fraud is bad. Fraud is bad.
Get our money back. All these allegations prove out to be true. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to see the show on Spotify as well. You can subscribe for free. I'll see you tomorrow. Snow White. Oh, wow. That was Melania put Tom Homan.
Increasing coordination.
Okay. course, being out over at Disney, which means tough luck for the View. Wow. I don't know if the Colin Kaepernicks of the world are going to get their contracts extended at Nike, because Nike's in a whole lot of trouble. The government, the federal government, suing Nike over alleged discrimination against white
Appreciate it.
all those DEI policies. We got a lot of ground to cover today, including the markets, which traded off today.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the NASDAQ really getting hit the worst because there's a lot of concerns.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Let's grow together. Let's get there.
If you haven't done this, you got to, okay? Because I created this for all of you. It's my own financial research firm, and I have some pretty strong and good, solid macroeconomic views on all of this. And my colleague, Rob Horton, has some very good analysis of all the stocks that you want to be looking at right now. So I encourage you to go to 76research.com. Take a look at those model portfolios. That's where the real value add is. But you can also just get the newsletter. It's $1 a month for the first 2 months. You can sign up with code word dollar at 76research.com. As we said, volatility is back. You need good research right now. Well, we begin, ladies and gentlemen, on Homan's stunning move there in Minnesota. They sent him in, and what are you getting but results? All kinds of results. Let's go straight to Homan for the big win. You know what they're actually doing? They're cooperating. They're actually allowing ICE now into the jails in Minnesota so that they can get the bad guys off the streets. Hallelujah. You know, it shouldn't have had to be this hard.
Attorney General Mayor Fry.
I'm a political commentator.
And law enforcement officials about increasing coordination in a lawful way between the county jails and ICE to avoid public safety threats being released back in the community. While we had our differences, one thing was clear. We all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities. We have made significant progress under the direction of President Trump, working with state and local officials here in Minnesota, and I expect that to increase in the coming weeks. We continue to have discussions. I'll have discussions this afternoon. We currently have an unprecedented number of counties communicating with us now and allowing ICE to take custody of illegal aliens before they hit the streets. Unprecedented cooperation. Now,
Tom's the man.
This is efficient, requires only 1 or 2 officers to assume custody of a criminal alien target rather than 8 or 10 officers going into the community and arresting that public safety threat. This frees up more officers to arrest or remove criminal aliens.
I mean, again, is it that hard? This is so freaking obvious. Guys, I mean, why would you have people that are in jails that, by the way, law enforcement, local law enforcement has gone through the trouble and risk of arresting themselves, and then you leave them in the jail and then, jail time's up, or, you know, maybe they can't come up with who knows what they need and they're waiting trial, whatever. You let them back out? Like, how does that make any sense? It's like the world is turned upside down. Fitting day that they're also suing Nike, right? Because talking about world being turned upside down, where suddenly people were getting all kinds of accolades just because of the color of their skin. Give me a break. It's the same kind of thing, you know. If you happen to be illegal, you're going to get released, as opposed to, well, if you're an American citizen, tough luck for you. You're a criminal and you're American. They're coming after you. You're an illegal and you're in jail for a crime. Woohoo! Field day. How is that ever right? Let's finish this.
More officers taking custody of criminal aliens directly from the jails means less officers on the street doing criminal operations.
Yeah.
This is smart law enforcement, not less law enforcement. It's safer for the community, safer for the officers,
right,
and safer for the alien.
Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We can do it. We can do it.
For the Twin Cities.
Why not?
It absolutely makes it more safe. I mean, this is just kind of a no-brainer, and this is very obvious. This is very obvious to everyone, including, even the Barack Obama people who put Tom Homan in charge of their major op to get all these illegals out of the country. And guess what he did? That was the most up until we had Donald Trump come along. You had the most illegals exported from the country because back then they saw it as a good thing. You know what they're doing now. You know why they did this.
How you doing, Andy? Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining in.
Take over, and we're talking about Congress. They wanted to get more and more people into their blue states so that they could then therefore have more representation in Congress. And what do you do with all those people that you're importing here? Oh, you give them free stuff and you keep them really, really, really dependent so as to encourage more blue votes. I'll tell you, they didn't bet though on a lot of the blue folks not reproducing. Someone sent me a story yesterday, an analysis actually, with some data showing how, for whatever reason, those on the left can't seem to reproduce.
Damn.
So they have to import, you see, illegals. Otherwise, how are they ever going to get their populations up? You know, Tom Homan said something else really, really important here, and I want to point this out because do you know that they were obstructing ICE, literally obstructing with roadblocks? Again, what do you think this is other than impediment? Thank you very much. Well, he called them out on it, and guess what? Those ICE blockers, as they say, they're all coming down in real time. I want to show you what the local law enforcement has been forced to do thanks to one strong man, Tom Homan, and, you know, aided and abetted by one Donald J. Trump. They're taking down the blockers. Watch.
Foreign duties to enforce immigration law that Congress passed is unacceptable. And it's shameful and incomprehensible to me that this unlawful and threatening behavior is being tolerated by anyone. As far as what I saw yesterday with the roadblocks being set up, you're not going to stop ICE.
Basketball Jones, what's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Let me get to 1,000.
The ones irritating your community want to go get
1,000 subs.
pick the children up or
Let's
whatever.
get it.
I talked to the chief of police, and he committed to taking swift action on those illegal roadblocks. They're illegal. We shouldn't tolerate them. Again, a complete drawdown is going to depend on cooperation, continued cooperation of local and state law enforcement, and the decrease of the violence, the rhetoric, and the attacks against ICE and border.
Boom.
The federal law enforcement personnel, ICE and CBP, and other partner agencies are patriots.
Yeah. You know, that's a really important thing that he's saying. And they've been so vilified by all of this. And why have they been vilified? Because it's in the left's interest to do so. I think it's also in the left's interest
Timmy Turner,
to
whoops.
try to make ICE seem as bad as it is because they want to get all of these people out of the city. Now, why do they want to get all of these people out? It's pretty darn simple, guys. They don't want them looking into all the things that they're looking into. I see you're actually saying that as I look at some of the comments here in real time. Here's the good news, okay? So I think you should all take heart in this. The good news is they're not going to be successful on that front because I don't think Treasury is going to give up. I don't think Congress is going to give up. And they're all investigating Ilhan Omar right now, despite her going out on a rant yesterday. She sounded a little panicked to me again. She wants ICE gone, and she wants Kristi Noem gone. I mean, Kristi Noem already is gone, so I don't know what she's complaining about there. She wants Stephen Miller gone. Ha! Fat chance with that, lady. Anyway, Ilhan Omar, you can see she's nervous, and it's because of everything we've been talking about over the last 2 days. We've done this deep dive, and I encourage you, if you have not seen yesterday's show,
Right.
before, you need to go back and watch this because I've been looking at all of her financials with a fine-tooth comb, and it is not good for Ilhan Omar. I actually firmly believe, and I'm not saying this is not hyperbole. I'm sounding like her right now.
Damn.
The Coonies. You know, Tom Homan and his Coonies. Anyway, we did a pretty deep dive, and I think her husband's got some real funny stuff going on. I'm just going to say it. I actually think the two of them could wind up in jail because of not just back taxes, the $403,000 that they haven't paid, but all the funny things that have gone on with that so-called venture capital firm, as well as the winery. All that aside, let's just listen to the hysteria for a moment and react.
Which is Stephen Miller. We mean, when we say it is time for Kristi Noem to go, we mean it now. When we say there needs to be accountability for the architect of the terror we are facing in Minneapolis and so many other cities, which is Stephen Miller, we mean we need accountability for him now. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining the call to get ICE out of our cities, for us to dismantle this department.
Amazing, isn't it?
Not just rogue, but unlawful.
Almost at 1,000, everybody. Almost at 1,000.
Yes, obviously, if Kristi Noem does not resign and the president doesn't fire her, Democrats are ready and willing to impeach her.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Look, Kristi's no longer there, but take that with a grain of salt, because as I've said from the beginning,
Roy, you're back. What's up, man?
Tom Homan there. I've known him for a long time. He's a very good man, by the way, a very, very good man, and he's there to get a job done. No theatrics, no Ice Barbie. By the way, I like that nickname. You guys are like, why did you call her that? I'm like, I like that nickname. Hey, if somebody called me Barbie, I'd be totally fine with it. I thought it was a compliment.
You want those two for $228? Oh wow!
Somehow say that because she's beautiful, she's
them combined with bankrupt America. Them two people combined.
Prejudice, not mine.
Amazing.
I think that the reality is the
subscribe, everybody. Subscribe.
And the cameras, and a lot more of Tom just doing his job, because he's a hard worker and he's there on a mission. But these Democrats that go on and on, ice, and the people all riled up like this one.
Bad Bunny. Oh wow.
It hurts our ears, right? But those are the protesters there in Minnesota, and the people have gotten so agitated. You see these women that are like on the verge of total hysteria, and even, I'm sorry, the Preddy situation. We do have video of the guy like kicking and shouting at these ICE officers, and I'm not saying that anything in any way, shape, or form justifies people dying in the streets. It doesn't. But you've got to understand that our lawmakers need to have some responsibility. I mean, they may want to create a revolution, right?
Right.
Why? Like, what? Because Donald Trump is in
Thank you, guys. We're growing, guys. We're growing. Let's do it. Let's get to that 1,000. Why not?
It's
30 people in the chat, 30 subscribers. Why not? Let's get it.
We have a few.
Thank you.
Crossed over to the other side. Here he is on Fox News.
These politicians who are fueling the flames. I don't believe a single Democrat out there. There's not a single Democrat out there that can stand up with integrity and say, oh, we got to take down the temperature. Oh, we want to coexist. Oh, we want to work with the other side. Show me that you're actually doing that, because you're not. You're fueling the flames. You're inciting people. You're actually telling people
Thank you. We're growing, everybody. We're doing it. Let's do it.
They're terribly irresponsible. They need to be taken down politically by having the people rise up and vote them out of office. This is not acceptable behavior in today's America.
Thank you, Jason. I agree 1,000%. It's just not acceptable. And you know what you're looking at increasingly? The revival of the Insurrection Act, right, of 1807. I don't actually think it's going to get to this, and I think it was important to the president to not have it get to this. It's one of the reasons why he put Tom Homan in there, and Tom is doing a great job, right? So who's going to complain now? But he's got the right to, and sometimes I look at it and say, for goodness sakes, he may have to, because you have such crazy Democrats there that are willing to risk it all, roll the dice, all for the sake of trying to make him look bad. Well, it would make him look bad. I mean, one of you guys pointed out the other day that Bush was not reelected after putting in place the Insurrection Act after Rodney King riots, and then somebody else put in the Dwight Eisenhower was not reelected after having sent the National Guard in for Little Rock, Arkansas, so that you could have the integration of the schools. Very, very interesting. And so it's not necessarily a popular move. It's not the go-to. The president saying on Truth Social over the weekend, well, fine, I'm not going to give him any help. Out in LA, you guys want to have all those riots? Good luck. I'm not helping at all. You're on your own, because you made your bed, you're going to lie in it.
Right.
So that's another approach to take. I get it.
We're almost there, you guys. We're almost there. 40 people in the chat.
Solution to all of it. Let me
30 subscribers
go to an interview
out of the 40. Let's get 30. Why not? Let's grow.
He was just on NBC News. So this is fresh, hot off the presses. He, by the way, called Savannah Guthrie and expressed his
condolences. We got this.
You know, he's a class act. He really is, despite what they want to say about him. But let's go to the Meet the Press interview here with Donald Trump.
Let's get it, people. 60 people in the chat. I just need 30 subscribers to get to 1,000. Help a brother out. Why not? Why not? Be right there, people. Be right there. Help a brother out. Blessings to everybody.
Okay, let's drill down into the news today. That big change on immigration, 700 officers leaving Minneapolis. Did that come from you?
Yes, it did. But it didn't come from
Thank you, Charles. You're right. God is in control. You're right.
We have
most definitely.
We're waiting for them to release prisoners, give us the murderers that they're holding, and all of the bad people, drug dealers, all of the bad people. We allowed in our country, I'd say 25 million people with an open border policy for 4 years under Biden and that group, the auto pen group, I call them,
Right.
be allowed to come into our country, people the likes of which no country would accept.
30 more subscribers. 30, 30, 30. Let's get
A
it.
lot of them out. So crime now in Minnesota, crime now in Minneapolis is down. Crime in all cities is down. And you know why it's down? It's down because of us. It's down in Chicago by 25%, despite the fact that we are always dealing with these people, and they happen to be Democrats.
Right. Speaking of
that don't know anything about crime prevention.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned.
We doing it. We doing it, everybody. We doing it. Blessings, blessings. Let's get to that 1,000. Thank you.
But you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals. But look, I've called the people. I've called the governor. I've called the mayor. Spoke to them. Had great conversations with them. And then I see them ranting and raving out there. Literally as
Ranting and raving. That's the name of my podcast. Name of the show.
Politics, right? And they're not gonna lose this political.
We doing it. We doing it. We growing. We growing. Thank you, guys.
This is their moment. Tim Walz, the failed politician, who will never be remembered. I mean, I can't to this day quite tell the difference between him and Tim Kaine. Do you remember who Tim Kaine is? He's the other Timmy who ran alongside Hillary Clinton, who, by the way, is going to be up in front of Congress talking about, all those files that just came out because, you see, she doesn't want to go to jail like Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon did. So she and her hubby are going to have to be on display. But, he ran with one Hillary Clinton, and then the other, this Timmy, out in Minnesota, ran with.
Let's get to that 1,000, people. Let's get to that 1,000. Why not?
Never to have to say a name again, but nonetheless,
we're almost there.
So I think that he would have been just remembered as like a footnote in history, and he's trying to seize this opportunity and seize this moment.
Welcome back, John.
Do the right thing and show everyone he's capable of this, that, and the other. I mean, forget the fact that they had so much fraud there. It was
Matt,
disgusting.
good morning.
And it all happened under his watch. And I'm sorry, I'm not getting away from that. I really am not, because when I look at all that fraud and I see the amount of money that they were taking out of the city of Minneapolis in 2 years' time, $700 million getting taken out in suitcases. I mean, what the heck kind of place is it?
Right.
Second largest place, by the way, is Ohio. It was the second largest Somali population. Amazing, right? I mean, coincidence? I think not. So
let's get to 1,000. We there, people. We there. 89 people in the chat. Let's do it.
Things are going to come out. And they've got a whistleblower program that they're putting in place at Treasury so that these people, as Besson says, the rats will turn on each other. I mean, it's really quite something. So there's much more to come. Speaking of Besant, I want to get to some of his testimony there in front of Congress today, because he kind of let Maxine Waters have it. Oh, that's always good. And I want to get to this Nike story, and I want to get back to Ilhan Omar and the sketchy, sus financing. But first, I want to tell you about 120 Life, because we have some new sponsors here on the show in the new year, and this is a great one. It tastes really good, actually. I've tried it all. It just has one crazy thing, and a 2018 campaign following all his nonsense at the NFL games where he refused to stand. And I'll show you a snippet of it here in The View, as well as The View's reaction, because, basically you need to pull a Costanza. If The View likes something, you want to run as far away as you can from it. And it's probably going to come back to bite you from historical standards if The View has ever liked it. And sure enough, this one's coming back to bite Nike pretty badly, because it's alleged that they fired people just because of their race. Because they didn't have a certain race, they were sent packing. And I'm sorry, that's not okay anymore.
I thought when it was unveiled yesterday. Here's a little bit of it.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. When they talk about the greatest team in the history of the sport, make sure it's your team. If you have only one hand, don't just watch football, play it.
Right, thank you.
And if you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player. Become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
Right. Let's do it, people. Let's do it. Let's get to 1,000 subs. Let's get to 1,000 subs. Good morning. We can do it. Let's grow together, y'all. Let's grow together. Let's do it.
This is just a little piece of it. We'll make sure that we put it up on the View website so you can see all of it, because it is an inspiring ad. It focuses on aspiring athletes and it avoids the knee controversy.
Excuse me, it's inspiring for who? It's inspiring for who? Like, it's inspiring for, I guess it's inspiring, but it's inspiring to a very specific class of people. Let's be very clear. They were making it very known that they didn't want anybody. They didn't look like Colin Kaepernick or Venus Williams, Serena Williams, getting ahead in the company. Yeah, and that's why they are now being investigated by the federal government, as they should be, because that is, Harvard found this out the hard way, against the law.
It is everything that Nike has stood for. Yeah. Be the best. Do it. Just do it. Don't be afraid of it. Yeah. Do it. And know that sometimes there are consequences to what you do. Now, as Americans, we do just do it. So what do you think people will think of it once they actually see it? You might be a little pissed off that you burned your stuff and you didn't have to.
And it's being played tonight, is my understanding, during the NFL game. Yeah. I think it's the Falcons and the Eagles. Am I right about that? Yeah. In Philly.
It's so good. It may make me be interested in football again.
I know. As if I ever watched. They're just goose, right? They're fawning all over this thing. And, okay, so they brought Colin Kaepernick in. Colin Kaepernick, who's not much of a football player, by the way, and still wasn't really able to succeed on the football front. You know, Colin Kaepernick wouldn't even have a career if it wasn't for him deciding he's going to take a knee. And he's
almost there, you guys. Let's get to that 1,000. 25 more people. Let's do it. We can do it. We can do it. 25 more people.
Anyway, yeah, I will sing that one all day. Maybe we'll play that at the end of the show. Something to look forward to, okay? But yeah, I don't have a lot of respect for this guy. I think he's nothing but a total tool that seized a political movement and his whole believe in something. Believe in what? Like, you know what I believe in? I believe in equality of opportunity. I mean, we ought to make sure that everybody's got a good shot at something. But listen, buddy, you're not going to get there just because you want to bash everybody else. You actually have
Epstein found something else, man.
Succeed in the game. Right? Colin Kaepernick is where he is not because he's a good football player, but because he decided.
Let's get to 1,000. 100 people in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
His own company was so stupid they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now John Donahue, who by the way also said some weird things about China, like, oh, Nike is meant for China. It's just like, I can't remember the exact quote. He got in a lot of trouble because it turned out that China was doing some pretty bad things, right? I think we all know that. And yet he just kept defending China and wasn't going to not do business with China because, hey, they pay the almighty dollar, I guess, in China to John Donahue. He's going to wind up out of a job. Mark my words. Bob Iger just got, pushed aside. He allegedly is choosing to resign. So Bob Iger.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
To leave amid the investigation into his DEI initiatives, and now John Donahue, the same thing could happen to you.
As you know, China is a very important market to us. Phil Knight entered China 40 years ago, and he took a very long-term view. He was early, and it took years for the business to build up. So we've always taken a long-term view in China, and as you and I have talked several times during the last several years, we're trying to maintain very much of a long-term view during this period. There have been ups and downs over history, and we're blessed where we have strong leadership position. In addition to our supply chain, it's an important end-user market. It's part of our supply chain, but even more important, it's an important end-user market for us where Chinese consumers, we're the Jordan, the Nike, and the Converse brands are the leading brands with really strong connections with consumers in China.
Isn't it risky, though, to go so deep into China, especially on technology?
The good news is we are not a strategic industry, right? And
right, James. Right.
But
you're not that strategic. You made some really pretty.
Let's get to that 1,000. Let's get to that 1,000, everybody. We can do it.
Into the DEI nonsense, and now the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, otherwise known as the EEOC, is investigating Nike. They have actually put forward some subpoenas, and the agency is alleging that Nike may have engaged in a pattern or practice of disparate treatment against white employees, applicants, and training program participants in areas like hiring, promotion, layoffs, mentoring, leadership development, and other programs. So what I'm going to tell you again, I actually happen to have some very specific and inside intel on this because I knew some people that were pretty high up in management, still do know them, and that are no longer at Nike. And when they left, what I was told was basically, if you're a white man,
we're getting there.
Forget about it. Okay? Like, you aren't going to have a future at Nike. You're going to have to look for another company, and fast. And think about it, it was during COVID, etc. Like, not a good time. But they were getting rid of white men as fast as they could because you did not want to be a white man. It was like a hot potato. Ooh, well, let's get rid of this one and that one. I don't care. They worked there 30 years. Doesn't really matter.
Right.
So the federal investigation now is about whether or not Nike's internal DEI-related policies and however it is that they were implemented resulted in unlawful discrimination against employees based on race. And not just whether or not Nike had any diversity goals, but whether or not there was actually law breaking that went on because there was actual discrimination. It all started following those George Floyd protests, right? In 2020, that's when they ratcheted up. And you had, again, Nike saying things like, well, we got to have 50% women. We got to have 30%. I mean, it's crazy. Just like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And does nobody understand that? Like, you can't just say, we're only going to hire people that look like this. I mean, especially nowadays, right? Hey, you know, all a guy needs to do is say, I really feel like I'm a black transgender woman. Forget this white male label thing. I'm really a black transgender woman. And then what are you going to do, Nike? I mean, the whole thing is so freaking bogus and disgusting there. That's my New Englander coming out. And this guy was all part of it, part of it, indeed. And, you know, they look back with all these positive...
Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get to 1,000. We can do it.
Entirely in 2020. And I say, you know what? They deserve this. They deserve every single bit of this, as does Disney. Okay, that's the other company that deserves a whole lot of stuff. But before I get to Disney, one little last tidbit for you. Do you remember when they did this? They got this little, what do we call them? Can we see that? Oh, is it not playing? We'll try again. We'll try again. Let's see here. Because, you know, who doesn't want to watch Dylan Mulvaney jumping around in a sports bra? I mean, this is when, to
amazing.
Me, like, this is an example of Nike just jumping the shark. They hired
1,000.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Let's get to 1,000 subs. Let's get to 1,000 subs, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Well, that is just beyond idiotic, and it shows you how they were so obsessed with wokeism that they really couldn't get out of their own way, and it is pretty darn gross. But, you know, other companies have had this problem too. I'm looking at you, Disney. I'm definitely looking at you, and you know what? The Disney CEO is paying the price. The guy who runs the parks, you know, the only division that seems to be doing well, unlike the entertainment division, right? The entertainment division is disaster. The parks division and the cruise division seems to be doing okay, and that would be Josh tomorrow. He's going to be coming in and replacing one Bob Iger, which has the ladies on The View just freaking out because if you listen to this show, you know this. Disney owns ABC. ABC News is the producer of The View, and they're already under a ton of pressure because Brandon Carr, who now runs the FCC under Donald Trump, has been very, very noisy, and he has launched an investigation into the same exact stuff that Nike's getting hit with. So the DEI stuff and the sort of exclusion of people, they couldn't be in certain groups and certain training programs if they didn't have the right skin color. That's a big problem for Disney.
Right.
And, yeah, Bob Iger's actually on tape. I've showed it to you before, bragging about how wonderful their whole initiative is on DEI. Well, DEI is like
Ultra MAGA. Let's do it.
Don't want this anymore.
95 people. Let's get it. Let's get to 1,000. 95 people in the chat. Let's get to 1,000. Why not?
That's coming back to Homan in a big way.
Let's make history together. Why not? Let's make history together. Let's get it. Subscribe.
Can we talk to Bob Iger
I hope
today?
they stop. You hope don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean? If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself. But go f*** yourself. Is that clear?
Damn.
Hey, Bob. Sure, in the audience. Well, let me ask you then. That's how I feel.
That's how I feel. End of story. You see, he was talking about Bob Iger. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. At the time, he had just taken over X. And Disney was one of the big advertisers on Twitter. And so once he came in and made it X, Bob Iger said, well, we're not spending any money here. No way. And so he was trying to drive them effectively out of business. And that was Elon's version of F you, Bob. Well, guess what? He really did sort of F over Bob because Bob's gone and Elon is still there. Well, he's the wealthiest guy in the world, right? So he's still there and he's thriving. Disney's Bob Iger is getting ready for the retirement. Here we go. We got the investigation going on, similar, as I said to you, of what's going on with Nike. You know, this is coming back to haunt these people as we predicted it would. I mean, listen, just from a shareholder perspective.
Come on, you guys. 100 people in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it. Thank you. Thank you.
Just look at Disney stock. Look at what those bombs at
So
the
good,
box
mister.
office have done to Disney. They can't come up with a movie idea to save their lives over there. I mean, Melania beat Zootopia in the box office last weekend, and she was a documentary. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They have no new ideas. They keep coming up with sequels, and they just want to wokeify all the sequels.
Let's grow together, everybody. 100 people in the chat. Let's grow. Let's grow.
I don't care, but it's just sort of silly and a little bit weird. Can you not come up with your own character? I mean, you want another mermaid, you want to make her black, like, fine. Like, find a story that works.
Thank you.
Don't try and reinvent the story that's already there. It's a little nauseating after a while and shows your total lack of creativity. Snow White, oh, wow, that was a bad movie. And I went with my kids, and my kids had no interest in it. And I'm looking around the theater at the other kids. None of the other kids had any interest in it. Anyway, he's all over them, Brendan Carr. He's all over Bob Iger. He sent a letter to Bob Iger back in March of 2026. So we're coming up on almost a year this investigation has been going on. He writes to inform him that, you know, they're doing this because it seems that they have been in violation of federal law. In particular, he said, I want to ensure that Disney and ABC have not been violating FCC equal employment opportunity regulations by promoting invidious forms of DEI discrimination. Well, while I have seen reports that Disney recently walked back some of its DEI programs, oh yeah, it got rid of all of them, dismantled all of them. Significant concerns remain because you guys did a whole bunch of stuff along the way. And you know what? Now The View is freaking out. The View has realized that without Bob Iger in the seat, they have no protector.
Right.
So Bob Iger was helping to protect The View. He did actually try to get them to change. Apparently, Sonny Austin was very, very resistant to that, as was Joy and the rest of them. They didn't want to change anything they were doing. He's like, but you're supposed to do entertainment news. This is why we started this. No, we want to do politics. We want to do politics because they're so important. We can talk about politics like nobody's business. So he was not able to help them help themselves. He can't save them.
Almost there, everybody. Almost there. Let's get it. Let's get it.
He's going down in smoke. So he's gone. You got the investigation with Brendan Carr still ongoing. And what is The View doing? They're freaking out and they're projecting onto Don Lemon. They're trying to say that because Don Lemon.
Hey, Corey, I'm not copywriting. I'm monetized. I'm not copywriting nobody. I know what I'm doing. Like and subscribe. Almost at 1,000.
Is now facing the wrath of the federal government because he decided it might be a good idea to team up with some protesters and go terrorize a bunch of people on the weekend when they were just trying to enjoy their church service and trespass on private property. Well, they somehow now think that's the equivalent of the federal government going after them.
Right.
Watch.
Let's get to 1,000.
You know, listen, what I said to you before, you see what's happening. You know what's happening. If it's happening like this for someone who is out and clearly doing his job, what do you think will happen to us?
Right.
So it's important to recognize what We are voting for it now. It's not a conversation.
My opinion matters. Thanks for joining the chat.
Like,
Thanks for joining the chat. Good morning.
We all got to stick together with all of this because it's affecting all of us
Whoopi is delusional.
from A to Z.
You're going to stick together, okay? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You're going to have some problems because you know what? You can't survive on your own. The show's too expensive. I mean, this is Jimmy Kimmel and this is the Stephen Colbert problem. The medium has changed. And advertisers actually want to be over here.
Right. She know what she's talking about.
Love that you guys are here, by the way. Thank you. Subscribe, share, like, make a comment. It's really important for the algorithm.
Right, you hear it. Subscribe and like, you guys. Subscribe. Thank you.
And I am looking at those comments in real time. So all very
almost at 1,000. Y'all see it?
Here because
let's grow.
They're more assured of who's actually watching. And so it's not like we're trying to track through the old-fashioned Nielsen system what somebody's remote control may or may not be doing. Have you ever known anybody with a Nielsen box? Have you? I've never known anybody with a Nielsen box. And I'm sort of
thank you for the like. Thank you.
They're like a thing of legends. I don't even know anybody who's known anybody with the Nielsen box. I don't even know anybody who's ever known anybody that's been asked to have a Nielsen box. So I used to joke.
Critical. Thanks for joining in.
When I was back on the real TV side of things, I was like, yeah, these Nielsen ratings, what exactly are they?
Glenn Sharp, you funny. That's a good one. It's a good combo.
And so advertisers, they like advertising here because they know that you're watching. They know that you're connected to the material. They know that you have an interest in it. And so it's a much more precise way of reaching a consumer. So you got that going on within the industry. So why bother advertising on The View that is so vitriolic and so political and so divisive? Well, not to mention expensive. It's expensive to advertise on The View. And so as an advertiser, you're like, do I really want to partake in that? Do I want to take on the headache that they're all taking on every single day? Well, if you don't have your advertisers and you don't have your ratings, because not a lot of people are watching that anymore, and you still have this very, very high overhead because you got to pay the guy who like wrangles the audience and entertains them during the commercial break and tells them when to clap and when to boo and when to laugh. Yeah, literally, they have signs up. You got to pay the people that book that audience. You got to pay a very, very heavy staff filled with union people that are running the cameras and this, that, and the other. You got 30 cameras in there or something like that. That's expensive. So it becomes
22 subscribers away to 1,000. 22. Come on, y'all, let's do it.
And so much more cheaply, and by the way, get so much more ad revenue. So what are you doing with The View to begin with? I don't know. I mean, Bob Iger, you should have been able to talk them out of this stuff. These crazy ladies on The View when you could, and you weren't able to. So now here we go. We got for years legacy TV networks.
She should have stayed at home. Ass at home. Stop watching The View. She's watching The View. Thought it was okay. Got in the car and got herself in trouble. That's crazy.
Time talk shows, that would also be The View, qualify as bona fide news programs, even when they're motivated by purely political purposes. Today, the FCC reminded them of their obligation to provide all candidates with equal opportunities. He is referring to what is known as the equal time rule. So this is pretty interesting, and it applies to broadcast networks. It's something that is not applicable at all in cable news, which is why you see cable, being very much one way or the other. You've got Newsmax on one hand and Fox, and then you've got MSNBC and CNN on the other, right? So that everybody's got a very, very partisan view, and they can get away with that in cable because they don't have equal time rules. They also don't have a responsibility via the 1934 Act, Communications Act, to be of any kind of public service for their community. This is something that's very specific to networks, therefore specific to The View, specific to Jimmy Kimmel, specific to Stephen Colbert and the rest of these late night shows. So this equal time rule is coming into play, and that's something that Brennan Carr is pointing out to not just ABC, but also CBS, who's dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, including a potential lawsuit from the president, courtesy of what Trevor Noah decided to say at the Grammys the other night. I hear sources tell me that the new owner of CBS News is really aggressively trying to lobby the president to tone that down, but the president's committed to moving forward with the lawsuit. So equal time rules, all of this stuff is going to matter. The fairness doctrine.
Thank you, Roger, for subscribing. Thank you, Roger.
This show, I mean, it should have been over a long time ago.
I'm not sure.
25th Amendment.
Right, it's time.
25th Amendment is time. It's time.
So,
well, listen. What I said to you before, you see what's happening. You know what's happening. if it's happening like this for someone who is out.
Okay, that's her whole spiel about.
Let's get 22 subscribers. 22 subscribers. Let's get it. Let's get it. 22 subscribers.
What's going to happen to us? That's why she's arguing for the 25th Amendment. But the thing is Bob Iger, her boss, basically got the 25th first. They did not want him to win, and now Joy Behar is still struggling to this day with the consequences.
Why isn't Trump in jail? That's what I want to know. Because he won the election and 75 million people still.
Yeah, MAGA all day, baby.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
Hunt balloon, hurt balloon. Thanks for joining in.
And even if you did
subscribe.
Why isn't he in jail?
DOJ policy is such that you cannot indict or prosecute a sitting president. And
when did that happen?
It's been DOJ policy for a long time. And I
Subscribe. Thank you.
believe that the reason that Donald Trump
blessings.
ran for the office of presidency
Blessings.
he wanted to avoid going to jail.
Yeah, that's
what I think.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's grow. We got this. 20 more. We got this.
They said, we're teaching you
20 more.
And you're going to go to jail.
We got this.
Nixon was quick.
Okay, I don't want to bore you with too much of their gibberish, because that's really what it is gibberish. But I would just say that I know we've been talking about this for some time, and people are very anxious to see them go away. I actually think there's a very decent chance now that they no longer have the protection of one Bob Iger, and they actually have to fight this battle on their own. There aren't a lot of people, including Josh Tomorrow, who's coming from the park business.
Come on, 20 more. 20 more. Let's do it.
And that show doesn't work financially speaking. And so
Thank you.
For the safety and security and longevity of the company, of Disney itself, you're going to have.
Still Auto 100. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. We got this.
Have to take a big red pen and say, what am I getting rid of here? Within the entertainment division, within the news division, etc., what do I need? What can I get rid of? What is profitable? What is not? And that's a show that I think is probably high risk, very little reward. It's not like high risk, high reward. The beta is like high, but there's no like actual upside in it. So if you're thinking clearly as a business person, you don't want to have the legacy of that company there. And I think it's important that they're bringing
Thank you.
From the parks business, because the parks business, I mean, listen, I'm not crazy about the parks because
we're growing.
I don't like to stand in line like that. I also think the cruise ship has gone seriously downhill. All right. So just saying, I'm not a big fan of Disney at all. However, I would say that as a CEO, he's far more in tune and touch with numbers and sort of realism than maybe Bob Iger is. Bob Iger, who's gotten a divorce sort of from that realm because he's been, attracted by big, bright lights, big city kind of thing. He's out there in Tinseltown in LA, and he has that entertainment community around him. So, trying to work a deal with Whoopi Goldberg is important to him. It's not going to be important to Josh, the new CEO. He's like, I don't care about Whoopi. Like, how much money is she making? How much money is she costing us, right? And I think you need that level of efficiency being brought into the company. I don't know a tremendous amount. I have some sources that know him quite well, but personally speaking, I don't have any sort of personal anecdote I can share with you about Josh, who is expected to come in now as the new CEO. Bob Iger, look, I've interviewed him many, many times over the years, and I think that it's an unfortunate end for him, but let it be a lesson to everyone. Let it be a lesson, okay? Not just go woke, go broke, but also
right.
know when to cash it in, okay? Like, know when time's up. He never embraced the other Bob coming in to take over the company. Bob Chapek, right? And so he... Right,
she don't even live in Minnesota. She went all the way to Minnesota to scrub ice.
And it was just...
She scrubbed ice about like 4 minutes until the ice officer came and said, hey, could you get out the car? And then she drove off and hit the other officer. But for 4 minutes, she was out there honking her horn and whistles and agitating the officers. That's crazy.
Disaster for the company. And now he's back there and he's inherited that disaster, including the DEI nonsense, and he's got no room to go except for down and out. And that's what we see. So, when is the view going down and out?
Right.
I think it could happen soon. Meanwhile, Ilhan, Omar,
72 people in the chat. Let's get 26 more subscribers. We got this. Let's get it. My math is kind of wrong, but let's get it. Let's get it.
Just any response you have to what he's saying in the public.
I have a response because I know they'll be investigating.
So you don't think they would find anything?
Absolutely not.
Why do you think they keep bringing this up?
Because they're sick.
Because you got caught. That's why.
You know
You
what's
got
sick?
caught.
You don't pay your taxes. $403,000 worth of taxes, and your husband chose not to pay them. I'm sorry, but that's sick, okay? And why isn't that getting any press?
Right. Why getting any press?
Media all over this. Why do they give her a
Let's
pass?
get 18. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get 18. Let's go. 18 subscribers. Why not? Let's grow.
Any of this. Well, guess what? I'm not afraid. Believe me.
Again, let's make history together. Let's get to 1,000. Why not?
I've taken on the
Let's grow. Let's grow.
system and lived to tell about it. All right. So this weirdo that she's married to, who doesn't pay his taxes,
We got this.
and
Let's do it.
gets sued multiple times for, wait for it, dun dun dun,
Thank you, Glenn.
he has been sued multiple times for fraud.
Thank you, Gerald.
And somehow she marries
Thank you,
him
Gerald.
on the very day that she announces the $250 million for feeding our future. Third marriage, by the way. Third marriage, clearly not much of a Muslim, if you ask me. Other than the hairdo, or lack of, shall we say. She's mad. She's like, how dare you? How dare you? You can't come after me. This is
Thank you.
totally taboo. This is you can't go after me. If you dare to say anything about me, it means that you're trying to say that because I'm Somalian, I can't live the American dream.
Almost there. Almost there, y'all. Thank you.
So I know that there's always been an attempt to smear my character, to smear the character of the community that I ethnically belong to. There's always this sort of sad reference to the fact that I'm a refugee.
She belongs in jail, y'all. She want to kick it off.
Have a problem with the fact that I am living the American dream. Yes, I was once a refugee. Yes, I did survive war. Yes, I did come to the United States when I was 12 years old, not speaking English, but I did make it to the United States of Congress.
What the? Banana and rice? A good one. Banana and rice. That shit crazy.
Yeah, your version of the American dream. It's not the American dream. It's like the Tony Soprano version of the American dream, the Al Capone version.
Come on, 15 more. Come on, you guys.
This guy,
91 people in there.
Timmy Minette.
We got it.
Is
we can get it.
Apparently quite the entrepreneur, you see, because he claims to have 60 billion. That's B with a capital B. I underlined it. Can you see it there? Right by my hand. I'm pointing towards it. $60 billion asset under management. AUM. That means assets under management, and that would make him like one of the largest firms in the country. He does not have $60 billion under management. Okay, so that in and of itself is fraudulent for him to put that onto his website. And for him to be collecting money from anyone, allegedly for investments, I would just say is super sus. Because he doesn't have any of the SEC certification to be doing this in the first place. And he's lying. He's lying about his $60 billion asset under management. So, this is concerning, guys. It's very, very concerning, and Comer knows it.
Here's what we know. She went from zero to anywhere between $6 and $30 million in a year. I don't know many people that go from 0 to 30 without having a legitimate business.
And there is no legitimate business. I mean, the winery that has no land and no grapes and no website and no office, the company that has 60 billion with a B assets under management, operating in 80 countries, we'd have to assume one would be Somalia. 80 countries, 60 billion assets under management. I mean, wow, that's pretty, aggressive for him to just get right out there on the website and make up what like that. Okay, that's really, but this is the woman who says, the goddamn United States and everything that she says. She really doesn't like this country, if you ask me. She's, as the president pointed out, always trying to tell us how we should do it better. And apparently, doing it better means involving all of these people, the Democrats, the Democrat Party. This was great. The New York Post reported on this one. You had the ambassador to China, Max Baucus. Under Obama, you had the ambassador of Bahrain, Adam Morelli. There you had all these people that were big-time Dems that were on Timmy Minette's website where he was
almost there, you guys. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Do not forget that.
Almost there to 1,000.
Okay?
Why
that
not?
would make him one of the largest firms in the world.
You
That's
guys
how
are a blessing.
It's fake. It is totally fake. He's got this private venture capital firm, which many people now believe was basically a money laundering operation. Yeah, a money laundering shop. That's what she was doing. And so these are why you're seeing these accusations of fraud. I mean, he had a history of them. Just to be really clear, there were several lawsuits against him for stealing or misappropriating funds. He had a cannabis business. He basically had to settle in South Dakota for $1.2 million. I mean, this guy's a complete charlatan. And then, the wine business that wasn't, they had an investor that said, I'm going to put $300,000 with you. And they promised him a 200,000% return. I mean, which should have been the tip-off, of course, but he thinks, it's Timmy Minette with all his fancy Democrats on his website, and he's managing $60 billion. Boy. Anyway, that didn't end so well. Apparently, the money did get repaid to the guy. As we said, the cannabis business didn't go so well either. You had some of those funds that were returned in installments, $1.86 million in 2022. I wonder where they got the money to return. And by the way, what were they doing with the money? It didn't go so well, right? I mean, this is bad stuff. So why should we be concerned? We should be concerned because they had this LLC where allegedly millions of dollars is going through it. They even come out on her darn disclosure form saying that it's worth as much as $30 million. I mean,
let's get to 1,000, y'all. We right there. We right there.
Steve Forbes. We've been talking about Steve Forbes a lot on the show. I'm going to respond to him and say yes. We're going to get him on Friday, guys. So I told you I was reaching out to Steve. It is perfect. I'm going to tell him I will send the link. Here, this is how you know we're live. I will send the link. I told you yesterday, we played some sound from Steve, and he was just hysterical, right? Because Steve was on with my friend Elizabeth McDonald. Great show. Wonderful woman. And she's over at Fox Business. I just love her. And she had Steve on, and Steve was like, you know what I think this is? I don't think, you don't have to be that smart to figure this one out. This is what you call money laundering. So I know she had him on for a little brief time. I want to get him on and really dig in because he knows how this stuff works. I'm going to see if I can find this for you. Okay, here we go. Steve Forbes. Watch.
She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses where they come in. She had under $1,000 of net worth.
15 more, everybody. Just 15 more subscribers. 15 more.
They're a money laundering operation here. And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? And nobody can seem to find it. So there's a lot of smelly stuff here, and that's why in the American Dream, her version of the American Dream is the Al Capone version of the American Dream, Tony Soprano version of the American Dream, and that is stealing from the taxpayers. And so there's a lot of stuff here. And so when somebody cloaks themselves in the American Dream, and so you have numbers like this from minus 1,000 to 40 million, something is not right.
Anyway, so Steve's going to join us on the show, and forgive me, I think I typed that in the message. Just make sure you tune in on Friday. We'll make sure. Actually, maybe, we'll do that Friday, or we might even do it early next week. We'll see. We'll play with that. But anyway, we're going to get him on, and we'll talk some more about it because I'm not going to give up on this, guys. I actually want this all to be exposed, and I want to see all the financial records. I'm like Homer, I want to see every single bit of it, and I think that the public deserves that at this point because this guy that she married, is doing something funny.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you, guys. Thank
$60
you.
billion under asset management. That would make him one of the largest asset management firms in the country, one of the largest venture private equity, but venture capital firms. There is no way that that can possibly be true. And so if he lied about that, what else did he lie about? If he lied
Almost
about
there.
Having a winery, what else did he lie about? If he lied about what he could return to cannabis investors and then had to pay them all back, I mean, what else did he lie about? I have to think that she's not completely immune to this, and I would have to think that given the feeding our nation, that timing that coincided with their marriage is indeed very significant. I'll put it that way. I also think that this payday that he got, how did Timmy Minette manage to make more than any campaign manager for a U.S. presidential election? Just running those little Minneapolis campaign for his wife. I think it's funny. He was making a lot before. I mean, $878,000 he was making over the span of 2 years between 2018 and 2020, and now he's up to $2.8 million during the 2020 campaign.
These people here, man,
they were married, right? So
they get rich
you
quick.
how sus that is, because she's effectively paying herself. Because where do you think the money comes back to at the end of the day? The family. So she pays him $2.8 million to run her campaign. This is far more than anybody has ever made running a congressional campaign. That's like an all-time high. I don't think anybody's ever made that much money.
Right.
So what the heck is going on? And they looked into this. Don't forget, they looked into this and they decided.
Almost there, people.
Now, why
91 people in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Wow.
Y'all right there.
So much for the generosity. That definitely helps the algorithm. Cece Surin, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It's a few more subscribers. Name is Deontay. I do
just even being here,
political commentary and reaction.
And your likes and your commentary is so important. But yeah, it all helps the algorithm, every bit of it. So Timmy Minette, again, making a fortune off of his wife's campaign, and that is not normal. Okay, it's just not normal. Remember how everybody was all up in arms because there was a sweetener deal on Joe Biden's campaign manager where he was going to get $4 million, and they were like, whoa, that's a lot of money for a campaign manager to make for a presidential election. So if you're saying it's a lot for him to get $4 million running a presidential campaign, that's if you win, how does this guy get nearly $3 million for running a little congressional campaign out of Minneapolis? Well, I think I know how, and I think you know how, and I think where our heads are going probably simultaneously together, I'll articulate it for those that, have to catch up here, is probably the right direction. So think of how this might work. You say, hey, Timmy, I want to support Ilhan Omar. And do you think if I cough up this amount of money that maybe she'll do a little something for my mental health clinic that I operate above my Somali restaurant? Not to pick on anyone, but that's the most recent example. Some 21 days ago, she was even trying to still get $1 million for a friend in the Minneapolis region who had a Somali restaurant who claimed to have a mental health clinic above the kitchen. It's all happening as Nick Shirley's out there pounding the pavement, knocking on doors,
doing his job.
Out there's no kids inside all the daycares that are getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, enough already, right? I think we know exactly how it works, and I want every single last detail to come out. And you know what? I want the money back. I want all of our money back. And if she can't give it back, and even if she can, she deserves to be in prison. Full stop. One of the things that I have always loved about this country, and in reporting around the world, specifically in Latin America, I used to think, gosh, we are so lucky because we don't have that kind of corruption. And in Latin America, it really feels banana republic. Because I would say to people, well, why does anybody go into politics down here? Well, the money, because all the politicians are loaded. Every single one of them makes tons and tons and tons of money. Say what you want about Donald Trump. At least he had a company, and his kids worked in that company, and they had a thriving business long before he ever became the president of the United States of America. Unlike Barack Obama, Barack and his sad, sorry excuse for a wife, that poor Michelle Obama, who seems to hate her life and hate her husband and just hate her own self for existing, right? I mean, have you ever seen anybody more miserable? Now she's got a podcast where she can lament all her troubles all day long. Nobody watches, nobody listens, but, don't tell her that. Oh, they made a lot of money. I mean, so much so that they can afford the house in Florida. Forgive me, not Florida. Why would they ever want to be in Florida? In Hawaii. And they have that beautiful place out on Martha's Vineyard. Community organizer. That's all he was. And now he's running all the way to the bank. I like people who actually have worked in business first and who have made.
Yeah, I was playing the YouTube. I was playing the twins, the Hodge twins. And they kept on saying bad words, and they thought it was about some bullying and all that stuff, white supremacy shit with the Hodge twins. So I took it like a little 7-minute survey, passed it. They appealed it like within an hour, and they put it back. So the video is back up again. So I'm all good. No strikes. Like and subscribe.
Their own living. I think that's a heck of a lot more credible than the likes of Barack Obama. So Barack Obama is our example of a politician. Joe Biden is another. Never made any money outside of politics, and that money that his son could rake in, and his brother could rake in through their various firms to work on behalf of lobbying internationally, while never actually registering as foreign lobbyists. But let me tell you, you don't make $600,000 for a board job. Just doesn't happen, okay? $600,000 for a board job? My, you know what? That does not happen. That doesn't exist. But they were paying basically for special treatment, and they got it. Remember? Oh, he's on tape, for goodness sakes, at the Council on Foreign Relations, telling Richard Haas, yeah, I held up that money because I wanted them to find
I'm all good, Jimmy. No strikes.
Looking into the now defunct energy company, Burisma, that Hunter Biden was being paid to lobby for and quote unquote protect. I mean, it's all so disgusting. So this lady is perhaps the most disgusting of them all. The fraud queen. Yeah, I want every bit of this to come out, and I want to know exactly what she did, and I'm not going to stop, and we're going to keep covering it here every single day, every little last nuance that comes out on this Ilhan Omar case, because I want to see the records, and I want to see exactly how they accounted for all of this. It is good to have you here. Thank you so much for being here on the Trish Regan Show. Make sure you subscribe, share, like. I love seeing your comments. Sometimes they can be a little distracting because they're just so funny. Sometimes I burst out laughing when I'm watching a soundbite. Anyway, you guys are great. Again,
You've got a powder keg, and when protesters choose to protest violently and harass those ICE officials and blow whistles in their ears and block their way and curse them and curse their children, they're giving off sparks.
If somebody has a violent criminal history and is a fugitive, they don't want them as their neighbor.
Subscribe. Almost at 1,000 subscribers. Let's get it, everybody. Why not?
Crime is coming to this country, or is it a more specific definition now?
You're in the country leader, you're never off the table.
So look at this. Why are rioters storming offices of Governor Walz? Why are people going after their representatives? Aren't these supposed to be their leaders? Well, these are their leaders, but what nobody's talking about is you can't stoke the anger of the brainwashed forever and not expect that to boil over and go completely haywire. And as mob violence continues to tear apart Minnesota, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The rioters who've been told since 2015 that Trump is a danger to America, they want to see some action.
Thank you. 13 more to go. 13 more. Let's get it, everybody.
The problem is the president recently threw down the towel with the Insurrection Act, threatening a full state takeover if leaders like Governor Walz don't step in and calm things down. And this trapped Governor Walz. He's stuck because on the one hand, you've got the Insurrection Act. If federal troops come in and they suspend his ability to hide the schemes that he's allegedly been perpetuating, and there's no telling what they could discover. But on the other end of the Marines, you've got the mobs who are upset that the president has forced his hand. He's now sending in his own police and his own National Guard. who these sanctuary rioters now think are helping the enemy, helping ICE and protecting those who, in fact, protect America
Thank you.
from illegal immigrants and scammers and criminals. But that brings us to the real reason this entire state and its fraud-enabled power structure are collapsing in real time. These rioters, they don't understand that if they would just listen to their governor for a few minutes and chill out, maybe they could perpetuate their schemes and have something to fight for in 2 or 3 years if the government of the United States changes. But no, they want to see action now. They're out of control, and they're not willing to play by the rules, which require a long game for the socialists to take over America. Oh no, they want that takeover to happen right now. And when you combine the rioters you see on the streets with hired agitators who are part of a sophisticated domestic insurgency, you've got all the ingredients you need for a powder keg to explode. So that's Governor Walz's office. The same people that he's been riling up for weeks now came to where he works and told him that he's not doing enough. These mobs, they are beyond the control of their own governor now. And here's what they're angry about.
Well, Tom Homan's a professional, which is a lot more than Bobino and Christie know. But Tom Homan landed last night, and he called me last night and asked if we could have a meeting, and he was there at 9 o'clock. So, look, I think that's progress, but
I'm confused. Where's the guy who invoked the Civil War 2 weeks ago? Where's the guy that campaigned on becoming vice president along with Kamala Harris because Donald Trump was a threat to the world and world peace? Where's that guy? Where did he go? What do you mean he's out there making a deal with ICE? What do you mean he's making a deal with the enemy? That doesn't make any sense to these rioters. But it does make sense to the people controlling them.
The far-left network that helped put Alex Preddy in harm's way then made him a martyr. Azra Nomani wrote that, and she joins me now. Azra, who is in this far-left network and who funds them?
Yes, Stu, just like you just heard from the streets of Minneapolis, there is a far-left network that is escalating its activities against the federal government. And in this network are self-described socialist, Marxist, Leninists, terms that we might not have thought we would hear today, but they are indeed on the streets. They have guides on how to track, monitor, and harass these federal agents. They have got guides on how to avoid detection and how to
they're definitely paid.
Basically keep
this they
strife
paid
against the U.S. in the, quote, belly of the beast to destroy the empire.
Right. So that's what's going on here. You've got agitators who have decided that this is no longer about protecting Governor Walz and Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. Oh no, this is now about taking down the entire country. And whoever's in charge of these mobs, whoever's got these people out there, whoever's got them out there, those people, they want to see more of this. They're paying for this to happen. How else could somebody be an insurrectionist full-time, tracking ICE all day long? How does that person do that unless they got money coming in for their rent and for their food? I'm
we got a fish. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining in.
We're learning there are a lot of scams and schemes going on in Minnesota with people collecting welfare for running businesses that don't actually exist. But these groups and the people behind them, they're above Governor Walz. You see, Governor Walz, he and people like Governor Newsom in California,
thank you,
running these other blue states that are full of fraud, they're actually foot soldiers in a larger operation, and that's why these mobs aren't answering to them in Minnesota.
We got this, y'all. We can do it, y'all. We got it. We got it.
So what's really important to know is that right after there was an escalation of their activity where they put protesters out on the streets. Who were these groups? They were people like the People's Forum, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and they put their word out through a propaganda network called Breakthrough News. It's all those organizations are funded by an American-born billionaire living in Shanghai named Neville Roy Singham. He's already under investigation by congressional leaders for alleged intervention and interference in the U.S. domestic politics. It's really serious business that's happening right now.
That explains it. The mobs that are out on the streets, they're answering to who pays them. Now, whenever you see a massive group of people, you've got the agitators, because these billionaires, they might have billions of dollars, but they can't pay everyone. They pay enough people to help accumulate a critical mass of the brainwashed who believe everything they see on the TV, don't ask any questions, and have been waiting 11 years for somebody to do something about the president, Donald Trump, who they think is a threat to world peace and is the worst thing to happen to world peace since World War II. That's how you get these masses of people assembled. That's how you have individuals like this gentleman who is seen on video here attacking federal agents, thinking that they're on the right side of history. That's sad.
Right. That's sad.
And that goes to show you that the organized groups behind this, they don't care what happens to anybody. They don't care what happens to Governor Walz. They don't care what happens to Ilhan Omar. They don't care what happens to the people that join their riots and think they're fighting for a just cause. No, all they care about is destroying our country.
They were able to
Sad.
A woman pulled up my Wikipedia page, which labeled me as a far-right activist,
Uh-oh.
and it went all downhill from there.
I don't know.
Meanwhile, they're the activists. These are the people that hate our country. Look, they got the upside-down American flag. They're chasing James O'Keefe.
They threw something at me, which hit the back of my Kevlar plate.
Well, at least he's bodied up. These people are violent.
My security determined this was an unsafe situation, so we retreated back to the SUV, but they continued to follow us.
Now, look, this is not peaceful. When you're marching in formation like that, going after somebody who's done nothing wrong and is just on
Obey
the street,
the law. That's
you
right.
automatically are doing everything
Obey
that
the
you
law.
say the federal government doesn't want you to do. These are the same people that are out
11
there
more to
saying that
go.
the peaceful
11 more to
protesters,
go.
these are the same
44
out there that
people.
say that their friends in their neighborhoods
44
are getting
people. Let's
kidnapped
get it.
when really ICE is out there doing targeted enforcement against people who snuck into the country last week and shouldn't even be here and are members of a dangerous gang. But that's how these groups operate. They create a dangerous situation, and then when there is a repercussion, they say, oh, the federal government's brutalizing us. Oh, we're just average Americans. Yeah, we're just out here all day with no
Blessings,
jobs. Look,
blessings. We
average
get it. We
Americans
getting there.
don't
Thank you.
have
Thank
time to
you.
be on the streets all day. Average Americans don't have time to.
Let's make history together. Let's grow together. Thank you, guys. Today's the day. We can do it. Today's the day. It's all good. Thank you. Thank you.
Track federal law enforcement and harass them at every turn. No, average Americans are going to work. Average Americans dropping their kids off at school. Average Americans are in church. Okay, they're not out here on the streets in the snow as a full-time activist harassing people to cover up for fraud and schemes that are used to enrich them and keep them out there.
Those guys are bad. Yeah, the
This is crazy.
Our cameraman actually pulled his mask down to try to show them that we are actually press.
If I was a Fed, I wouldn't take off my mask.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
They just want to attack somebody. Look at them.
Thank you, Bert.
Look at this guy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And this guy. They got their phones. They're all masked up. Who are these people? How can they afford to be out here all day long? It's the middle of the afternoon. Why aren't they at work? Why aren't they contributing to the economy? Why aren't they making America a better place? This is crazy. The whole neighborhood's out.
We got into the vehicle and they started throwing projectiles at
Oh,
us. Frozen water bottles.
Yep, that's their tactic.
One hit my security.
You know why they're throwing frozen water bottles? Because if you throw frozen water bottles and they break the windows of a vehicle and that vehicle drives away, within 2 hours, that frozen water bottle is just a regular water bottle. And then what happens? The left-wing side of the media could say, oh, these ice haters, they're afraid of water. It's not even ice. You see, they've got these little schemes to try and hide all of their rabble-rousing. This is another element of that.
I am shooting. Shoot.
Filming. Look at that frozen water bottle.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Do you know what the First Amendment is?
Oh, hit him with the First Amendment.
Do you support the First Amendment?
Good question. Look at him. Look at him, all masked up.
These guys are yelling and throwing things. We're not doing nothing. You just assaulted us. We're friends.
We are. We're trying. Right. This is crazy. They don't believe in the First Amendment.
No problem, bro. I got you. Hey, they're just everywhere. Look, turn around.
Look, if you've got this type of disorder on the streets of America, you don't have a city anymore. That city is now a lawless no-go zone, and it's that way to protect who? To protect people who shouldn't be in America, who came in without permission, break our laws, and disenfranchise hardworking, legal U.S. residents who don't have time to be out here with the mobs. They're also doing this to defend all of the scammers who are plundering America's welfare state, taking that money and doing what? Putting the right politicians in power with it, keeping people on the streets so that they can protest and agitate on a full-time basis and rile up the masses. This whole thing is a ridiculous situation.
This network is doing is surely not legal. Some of the protests and the measures they're taking against ICE, I can't believe they're legal. Has there been any arrest of any members of this network?
Well, what's really important is that Kash Patel has announced that he is going to be investigating this network that has been communicating via Signal. Signal is where they
10 more, you guys. 10 more. Why not? Thank you. You guys are a blessing, man. We're growing. I thank you so much.
To the donut shop. There was a Signal chat that ICE agents were at that donut shop and that people needed to descend on the donut shop. And that's when this tragic killing happened. So the authorities are clearly looking at this network, and military and intelligence officials are describing it as an insurgency. So it's a very...
That's exactly what it is. It's an insurgency. Now, here's the problem that we've got that enables these insurgencies. You ever wonder why you see stuff like this in these sanctuary states and you don't see them in places like Florida where they enforce the law? Well, in Florida, if you form a big group like this and you go out there, you're going to go to jail. All right, they have not decriminalized your activities the way that a place like New York or California or Minnesota has. You see, so all of this rioting, it all happens on a foundation that says that it's okay to get crazy and reckless and where people don't go to jail for things like assault anymore. That's how you can have these perpetual agitators who are so violent and so dangerous that they prove that they're unsafe menaces to society, but they keep getting released. The local police arrest these people. What happens? They're back out on the streets the next day. So you have a foundation of lawlessness that all of this is built upon. And the problem is if you take down this one billionaire who's out there in China who's allegedly funding some of this stuff along with other people that are doing the exact same thing, you know who those people are. If you take down the kingpins, that's great. But what about all of the infrastructure that those kingpins were using, right? If you take down one kingpin over here, but you've got thousands of people who are part of an insurrection and they're all organized and all the machinery that they use to create mayhem is still out there.
10 more to go, you guys. 10 more to go.
Kingpin shows up and starts funding all of those same people. And
Let's get it. Let's get it.
You see, it's these folks that are out there every single day on the streets that need to be removed from the streets. If every time somebody was arrested for agitating and protesting in a place like Minnesota, if they went to jail for quite a long time, if they actually went to prison, the message would bring out pretty quick that, hey, what amount of money is worth going to prison? What amount of money is worth losing your freedom? You see, these people, they're out there because they do not fear any consequence in Minnesota like they would in a law and order state.
Obviously, it's come to what it is now. Hopefully, Mayor Fry and Governor Walz will see the sensibility in this in an issue that is a 90-10 issue that most Americans want: criminal, dangerous, violent, illegal aliens off the streets, out of their communities, and out of the country.
Okay, so that's the whole reason we've got these mobs in these sanctuaries to begin with. And that's because to these people, at the heart of their resistance movement is the idea that the U.S. border should be wide open. And there's a connection between illegal immigration, between all of this fraud that we're seeing, between these sanctuary leaders who never seem to be able to lose power, even though everything they do is against the interests of people who work in their states and pay taxes, and the mobs who are out there perpetually. And here's what that connection is. If Tom Homan and Greg Levine and Border Patrol, ICE, if they're able to go into these places and arrest dangerous criminals and fugitives, those people, these are the gang members. These are the cartel-linked foot soldiers that have infiltrated our country and are here keeping tabs on operations that remain under the radar. The millions of people who they help cross into the country illegally. These people come in with $20,000 smuggling debts. Who do you think is here making sure that those people pay their debts and don't just leave and escape into America and get to enjoy their fake version of the American dream while they're here illegally living in some sanctuary. It's these enforcers. These are the people who wind up in jail. These are the people.
Thank you. We're almost there, you guys. Guys, man.
Aren't supposed to have weapons. If you were.
Thank you guys so much, man. I'm not gonna let you guys down. Stick with me. I'm gonna stay with you guys. We got this. We got this.
Remove those enforcers, the whole idea of exploiting the U.S. border for money falls apart. The cartels in Mexico aren't going to be very happy about that. And you know who's not going to be happy about that either? All of these people running scams in
Thank you.
These scams are
We're making history together. Let's do it.
If you've got population growth, these places need population growth. They need more people because that gives cover.
Thank you, Craftsman.
Clinics,
Thank you, man.
that
Thank
gives
you.
Cover for daycare
FK
centers.
Rounds. Thank you, guys.
For programs that are supposed
Thank you
to
so
feed
much.
kids that don't have enough to eat after school. You see what I'm saying? If population growth stops happening, people stop coming into the country without permission, everything going on in these places, the whole apparatus falls apart, and the linchpin of all of it starts at the local jail.
Obviously, it's come to what it is now.
And they don't want that.
Mayor Fry and Governor.
Name is Deontay. I used to live in Chicago. Now I live in Rockford. Small channel, doing my thing, man. Thank you guys for growing with me. We're going to grow together. Thank you guys. Let's continue.
Walls will see the sensibility in this in an issue that is a 90-10 issue that most Americans want.
Yes.
Criminal, dangerous, violent, illegal aliens off the streets, out of their communities, and out of the country.
It's actually more than that.
Questions because they sort of get at the underlying feelings that people have. So this
Stephen
is
Collins, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken from the last.
Let's get it.
There's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deported all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%.
This is a losing issue in states that are not already a sanctuary, where fraud and corruption and illegal behavior at all levels run these places. The American people.
Let's get it, everybody. Let's get it.
To sneak into our
46 people in the chat. Just need 7. 46 people in the chat. Just 7. Why not?
Those things are for legal residents.
Subscribe.
We've been told for the last 4 years that somebody who's not from this country should be able to just show up and immediately have access to the entire thing while they break the law by coming in without permission. There are people waiting in line right now to come into this country legally, and by sneaking across the border with the help of a gang or a criminal organization, you disenfranchise all the people that want to come in here and obey the law. It's not fair.
Yes.
It's also not fair for people that already live in America to have less opportunity to rent an apartment or to have less opportunity to find a job because that job or that apartment's been given to somebody else. I mean, these mobs are the same people who tell us that, people aren't getting paid enough for the work that they do, that we've got an affordability crisis, that there's not enough housing, yet the very things they support contribute to a lot of that. I think that America's going to have big problems if these mobs take back Congress, if these mobs take back the White House with their candidates, because most of the people here don't agree with what they support. What do you think? I'll see you in the next video.
Forgive me. Okay. Will be the card of the year. What the heck? Touchscreen?
get a little drink around here, do you, bud?
What's up, guys? Benny, I went off this ride. I cannot believe this is real. Kamala Harris may be announcing that she's running for president. This was posted late yesterday from Kamala HQ, the famous campaign account that used to be the Joe Biden HQ, and she stole it from him, and she stole his presidency. Kamala Harris was complicit.
I understand. I get it. I understand. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. No problem. Thank you.
Goldfish at this point.
Let's continue.
Yesterday, which is a video of them trying to log in to their old Kamala HQ account. Way too online. The babysitter is weird. Epstein signal there. Headquarters. Oh, okay. Headquarters. Kamala HQ headquarters. So their password is headquarters. Great. This is leading to a lot of speculation, seen by 8 million people, 6,000 reposts, 23,000 likes. A lot of people saying, well, is Kamala Harris deciding she's going to run for governor or the president of the United States? Either way, it looks like she's about to once again be burdened by what has been. We get to bully Kamala interns again. This is Christmas. A lot of people are celebrating. Kamala Harris is a terrible candidate. Kamala Harris is a terrible person. LMAO, no way she's going to run it back.
Good morning, Pamela. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining in. Good morning.
Kamala Harris announcing that she is returning. God save us all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Donald Trump kicked my ass in the election. The clip economy is about to soar if Kamala is launching a podcast. There is not enough boxed wine to fuel her. Please be a podcast. Please be a podcast. It's all going according to plan. The great speculation is that Kamala Harris is going to run for president. She could have run for the governor of California and won, I think, pretty easily in the state of California just because she's a part of the machine, not because she's good, or wouldn't have cursed and doomed that state to kingdom come. But nonetheless, she decided not to run for governor of California. It's a long, mealy mouth letter that she wrote, and now we have this. Pretty sure the password is Chardonnay. In case you failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris was
positive Chardonnay.
DC this week. This is a gift for Republicans. There she is. Hey, sitting first class. How much does that seat cost you? Republicans, you lost. Go home. Democrats, we probably should move on. Kamala staff, we're back. Let's go, says Trump. Wait, what is Kamala's login? There you go. All right. Oh, you guys want some more pain? That's a good Kamala loser. Kamala.
6 more to go, you guys. 6 more to go.
2024 was Kamala. Just saying her name wrong. And Trump saying she's not sure if she's black or Indian. It looks like Kamala is running again. I need the password. I won't forget.
It's a good question about California. It's a good question.
Third time. What? This is Taylor Lorenz. What can I feel like libs are freaking out over this? Where can Republicans donate? What happy news for Republicans? What are the odds that this is a podcast? Stop, please don't. Libs are freaking out over this. LMAO, if she runs, this is the best thing that could ever happen to the GOP. Is the babysitter Tim Walz. Yikes. The markets are saying that Kamala Harris, markets spiked on this announcement. Kamala Harris announced she's going to run for president, Democrat presidential nominee in 2028. Kamala is on there, but she's not the winner. It would be Gavin Newsom. Kamala Harris is at 7%. Gavin Newsom is at 32%. And the winners are still at highly favoring J.D. Vance. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we have what the headquarters has decided to curse the internet with, which is another cringe longhouse video of a medicated Kamala Harris. Let's listen.
Medicated, damn.
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I have good news. So Kamala HQ is turning into headquarters, and it's where you can go online to get basically the latest of what's going on, and also to meet and revisit with some of our great, courageous leaders, be they elected leaders, community leaders, civic leaders,
oh my gosh,
young leaders.
I'm really excited.
Oh, no.
Stay engaged, and I'll see you out there. Thank you.
Do you really need somebody asking her a question? It's a Gen Z-led progressive movement. Gen Z-led progressive content hub. Headquarters. Kamala's launching a news company. This is amazing. This is incredible. This is great. She's launching.
Literally, this is amazing, guys. This is amazing in real time. Wow.
Got it. From all of us, their last post was November 5th, 2024. From all of us at Kamala HQ, thank you for following along with the photo of Tim Walz, who's probably going to jail. Stay in line, stay in line, stay in line. Look at this. They actually thought they cooked with this. They really thought they did. They really thought they did something here. I have a Glock.
5 more to go, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
This story has reminded me of President Trump.
Thank you so much.
At the National Black Association of Journalists.
Thank you.
Effectively calling out Kamala Harris for stolen race valor, I think is what you would call this. Saying she can't decide what race she is. And then the audience clapping for him. This is probably the wokest audience on earth. It's all black journalists, and they break into applause and laughter because Donald Trump trolls Kamala Harris. And so I'm begging you, Democrats, do this again. Do it again, please. Please. The clip economy.
John Fritz0. Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing, man. I'm not going to let you guys down. Thank you.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay,
Go ahead. I got videos. I do shorts. I do it all on YouTube. I do it all. Thank you, guys. I do it all.
Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the
then.
words
Would you give me a definition?
DEI.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
Define it for me if you
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much.
Thank you, guys.
Of Indian heritage.
Thank you, guys.
She was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn
Let's get it.
Black.
Let's get it.
Now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know. Is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to
respect
a historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she went.
We doing it, everybody.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I think
believe
We doing it.
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I really
Republicans
don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Paris, is a fantastic.
Come on, you guys. 2 more. Why not? 2 more.
And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings.
It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
We had a good discussion.
So do you want to know what I learned on the first day of Black History Month?
Opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I learned that voter ID laws racist.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Almost there. Excuse me. I learned that white liberals think voter ID laws are racist. Let's go.
Those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses African Americanism?
Definitely. Now, it's crazy enough that voter ID laws are racist, right?
Because they're less likely to have state ID.
Because black people are less likely to have state ID. Now, I would like to make a healthy disclaimer. Lots of black people do not think that I can speak for black folks. Because even though both my parents are black, I lack a certain amount. We're almost there, you guys. Wow, you guys are a blessing. Thank you, guys. Wow. And if you don't know, now you know. But as a fair-skinned black man, I could be in the in club if I was simply passing. MAGA, baby. If I don't think with the hive mind of Negroes, MAGA, I'm not part of the club. You see, we have a saying. Excuse me, the dummies within my community have a saying. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Come on, you guys. Stop teasing me. Stop teasing. Let's get it. Stop teasing. Not one of us. Especially when the hive mind thought keeps us on the plantation. You have to think like us or you're not one of us. How dare you say we're responsible for who we are in 2025, 2026? You see, you people have zero respect for the 60s. I'm obsessed with that time period. Before the 60s, black people were literally less than in this country. Legally. I'm not talking about the system you think holds us back today. I'm talking about legally. We were less than. Do y'all honestly think times have not changed since? Thanks, Fog. Thank you. Toilets, for Christ's sake. Y'all have zero respect for what our grandfathers and great-grandfathers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers did. All of that damn marching, the coordinated boycotts. When black people were peacefully protesting. It's all good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I am so grateful. Very grateful. Thank you. Injustice. Inciting a riot and then getting locked up is not injustice, for the record.
Because they're less likely to have state ID.
Also, your racism is in the wrong place. If you think black people are persecuted by the police in modern day and times, you think we're not smart enough to at least have IDs on us? Right. You see how dumb the modern liberal thinks we are? But we have been that dumb for years, voting for a party that don't do shit for us. Voting for them in the 80s didn't make us dumb. In the 90s didn't make us dumb. Even in the 2000s. But going forward, 2020, after we have the history to reflect on, voting for them going forward makes them dumb. And then all this nonsense, all this ubiquitous nonsense. You want this ubiquitous nonsense? MAGA. All the time. I'm getting off topic. We talking about how liberals view black folks and why voter ID laws are racist.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
So we're less likely to have the kind of IDs that are required. We can't get state ID. We're still in chains. We need Master to come by and unlock the chain so we can drive our cars that we pay our car notes for to the DMV. But we need Master permission first. That's why we can't get IDs, boss.
Kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
He took off his glasses. Look at this.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification. These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
I'm sorry, my boy. What?
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
These types of people
Thank you.
don't live in areas where they have access to a DMV. Where do you think black people live, son? How bad do you think the hood is? I stay in the hood right now. It's not roses all the time, but there's a DMV down the street.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Is that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Blessings. Sheesh. Thank you. It's my wife. She didn't expect me to do all that.
Oh my God.
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works. For most of the communities, they don't.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
They're not aware or they're not informed.
It's a big world, boss. The world is so big, and my little Negro brain can't begin to contemplate anything but this plantation is big enough for me, boy. I got an house over there. I got the place where I cook my foods. We got the places over there where we can dance. We got all the fields that we can play on. The good Lord didn't bless me with master in this plantation.
I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted
Thank you,
felon,
guys.
you're not allowed
Stay
to vote
with
and
me.
everything. And when you
Stay
look
with
at
me.
states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African American.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID, Norley? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
How she's get IDs? They's giving out IDs to colors now.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Master ain't going like this. Oh, no.
Everyone that I know has ID.
No. Who do you know? Who do you know?
Why would they think they don't have ID?
Because we's colors. We don't have IDs.
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Who's giving these IDs?
I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with.
Oh, these are these New York Negroes that have these IDs.
You know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
Oh, we's free now. We can have ID.
Thank you, guys. 1,000. Thank you, guys, so much. I'm not gonna let you guys down. Thank you. Let's continue.
Jesus. Oh, I gotta send a telegram.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Legit ID. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
Yes.
I know it's that. Do
you know where the DMV is right here?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Do you have a problem getting there? You have to get there?
Oh.
I know these sound like silly questions.
They do.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet. Can't figure out how to use the internet.
Yes, God bless. God bless everybody. God bless everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Little kitty can figure out how to work the internet.
These must be a special breed of blacks, huh?
I guess I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I wouldn't be here.
You're British. What the hell are you doing virtue signaling over here? You don't know shit about what's going on over here. Did you not know what's happening in these streets? Because of a popular vote? How about you worry about your own damn country being overrun by the people with the squiggly letters? Did you know y'all can't even speak freely about their people no more? Without getting locked up, you can't even make a social media post about certain things without going to jail. Before we get today's video started, I have to make a confession. I always said to myself that if I was ever wrong, blatantly wrong, I would come to the internet and own it.
And I pride myself in A, being funny, but B, giving y'all facts. Cold, hard facts. And if I ever misrepresented anything, I would come to the internet and fess up. I thought this was a girl.
We're ready for you. We're here to stand strong, brothers. Against you. Think about that. Okay? I want you to my arms.
Oh my God.
Damn.
This is a man. Ain't this about a bitch? So y'all, I apologize. I will be a better journalist. But this makes it even funnier because, bro, what in the hell are you doing grabbing a flashbang grenade? You see, this is why these liberal women have a hard time finding men. These are your leaders. Anyway. Why don't y'all tell me I had crust in my eyes? Anyway, I did something that I haven't done in a very long time. I watched the Grammys so you don't have to. These are my thoughts on the first 45 minutes of the Grammys. I loved how they opened the show. No words, no nothing. Just Bruno Mars and some girl I had never heard of. Now, when I say things like that, I'm not talking shit. I'm 37 and I don't know a lot of people. And the fact that she on the Grammys mean that a lot of people know who this lady is. I just don't. I'm not talking shit. I'm just not finna tap dance around nobody's feelings. I don't care that much, for the record. It was an excellent, excellent performance, honestly. And it honestly reminds me of why I've never been to a concert. My favorite... Somebody shoveling snow. My favorite my favorite artists have always been rappers.
Thank you guys. 2 hours and 30 minutes in. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Live? Hell no. My favorite rapper has always been Lil Wayne. I would not pay any amount of money to see Lil Wayne live. And I mean that with all due disrespect. He's terrible live. Everybody knows it. Best rapper I've ever heard. Terrible live. Argue with your mama about it. I'm not sorry. Trevor Noah was the host. I thought he was pretty good so far. Mind you, this is the first 45 minutes. He was going around doing his thing. I had no complaints about Trevor Noah. I like Trevor Noah. Just because somebody's liberal leaning and I'm conservative leaning does not mean I don't like somebody when they're funny. I'm not a liberal. I don't throw people away when they're the opposing party. Excuse me. So he was going around talking about people who were there. Then they got to Justin Bieber. And I honestly believe Justin Bieber does not enjoy his wife's company. Like, not one bit. At all. I never see him smiling when he's around her. Ever. But when he's around literally anybody else, he smiles the biggest smile. Like, he's so glad to be away from her. Sabrina Carpenter, first of all, I have to say, she's a wonderful performer. Dance moves, she sings really good. The backdrop was great. The choreography is really good. She's an excellent performer. Now, let's get to this song she was performing. I think it's called Man Child. I'm not going to look it up, but it seemed like it's called Man Child. And it's about how terrible these men are, and they're pathetic. It's always a little body-ass girl like that who's always talking about the trash men that they attract. Hold on. She literally said, hold on. I didn't choose them. They choose me. Don't you realize that if you constantly attract trash men, your coochie is a trash can?
Damn.
Energy you putting out to the world, little mama. And all of you women who relate to this song so much about these pathetic men, and you're describing really pathetic men in this song. Like, truly pathetic. Like, if I'm not there, it won't get done. What kind of men do y'all date? I know what kind of men y'all date. Liberal men. Because y'all don't date conservative men. Y'all date these liberal men. And these liberal men are the ones who got y'all writing these songs about these bitch-ass men. It was an excellent performance, though. Excellent. Kendrick Lamar, the Trevor Noah, Kendrick Lamar jokes were pretty good. Really good, actually. He said, I was going to have some jokes for you. but I know what you do to light-skinned dudes from different countries, so I'm good. It was corny and excellent. I love it, love it, love it. Queen Latifah and Doechii presented Kendrick with his award, one of them awards he was nominated for, and now he has more Grammys than Jay-Z, which is the most rap Grammys of all time. And can I please say, Queen Latifah looks so damn good.
What
and
the?
I know she's a lesbian. Excuse me, I don't know she's a lesbian, but I've heard she's a lesbian. I'm pretty sure she's a lesbian. Like I've never heard anybody not saying Queen Latifah's a lesbian. So I'm not trying to hit on her or nothing like that. She looked amazing with her fine ass. Lord have mercy. When I was a boy, like think about Queen Latifah from Set It Off. Ain't that crazy? Just fine. So then we went through the best new artists. I hadn't heard of a lot of these people. The Marias, they were weird. The performance was weird. It was also mid. Addison Rae, she gave a good performance. It was good. But when she was performing, though, I started thinking, I'm honestly wondering what happened to all the body positivity. I didn't see any fat people. Where were all the fat people on stage and in the coverage? I didn't see anyone.
Amazing.
That was a big thing, right? We're supposed to be representing all the fat people, all the body types in America. And I didn't see you make enough of an effort to present the different body types in your choreography, any of you people, especially Sabrina Carpenter. Everybody was in shape. I don't appreciate that. Do better. Cat's Eye, they gave an awesome performance. I don't understand why people like the song, though. I mean, it's got a good beat. The DJ is amazing in the song, but they just said the same words over and over again. I'll never understand those songs that get like super viral, that are like 17 words, but that ain't for me to understand. If I would have understood shit like that, we wouldn't have around the world. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't for me to understand. Y'all got it. Do your thing. But their performance was awesome. Leon Thomas killed it. He was killing that guitar. Like if you play the guitar and sing at the same time, you killing it. Just like Bruno Mars, like amazing. But it made me think about Lil Bow Wow, because Lil Bow Wow, he did a Leon Thomas Mutt remix where he pulled the joint out of a man's mouth on camera in a music video. So that kind of stains Leon Thomas's legacy, unfortunately, because Bow Wow had the nerve to take a joint out of a man's mouth. There were women in the music video, but he said, "I'm gonna take a joint out of a man's mouth," and then hit it.
That's
Bow Wow. That's tough, man. Alex Warren, he was good. He had a problem with his earpiece, I think, but he was on some rising thing. He gave a good performance. He looked pissed at the end of the performance because he had an issue going on. But so that made the performance a little mid. But I understood the idea, and this song it's not really made for a bunch of upbeat ass yada yada. So I get it, but they messed up backstage or something. I don't know what happened. Lola Young, I was kind of prepared to roast this girl in my mind. Her performance was awesome. She played the piano and sang that "I'm too messy, I'm too fucking clean," and I like that song. It's a good song, and she sings it with soul and passion. I became a fan, honestly, watching it. She was jamming. It reminded me of when I became a real Lady Gaga fan. Like I've been a Lady Gaga fan since. I'm thinking about how much you had to be feeling yourself to put yourself in the lyrics. Gaga, ooh la la, want your arrow. She was in her banging that shit. But some performance, she was singing the paparazzi song she was playing a flaming piano. The piano was on fire. It wasn't Libiquita. You hear me? She was playing a flaming non-Libiquita piano, and she was breaking glass bottles at the same time.
I don't want to leave you guys, but this will be the last little video right here. I thank you guys. What a journey. What a journey. Thank you guys. We ain't done. Let's continue the video. I'll get to the wife. Get something to eat. Thank you guys. Let's continue.
Gaga. Can't tell me shit about Lady Gaga. I love that lady. Olivia Dean, her performance was super mid following the other ones. This dude named Somber came out and he was a crop top wearing, belly button showing ass. He was glittery too. And the performance was mid. It's been like Olivia Dean and Somber, y'all was mid after what we had seen before. Not sorry. They should have had y'all before them. That was not nice. And then, of course, they gave Best New Artist to the most mid performance, Olivia Dean. It was the most mid song, the most mid performance, the most mid dance moves, the most mid everything, the most mid outfit. Everything about her performance was mid compared to everybody else.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. Name's Deontay.
That night, and she won Best New Artist. What do you know? And then during her acceptance speech,
yes, I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I wouldn't be here.
Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Subscribe. Thank you.
You're British. What the hell are you doing virtue signaling over here? You don't know shit about what's going on over here. Did you not know what's happening in these streets?
I got an old one too.
A popular vote? And how about you worry about your own damn country being overrun by the people with the squiggly letters? Did you know y'all can't even speak freely about them people no more? Without getting locked up, you can't even make a social media post about certain things without going to jail. You want America to become what the squiggly letter invasion did to the UK? Shut your ass up.
It's time for Lifty.
I see everybody, more people joining the chat. I gotta cut it short, you guys. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I usually go about 3 hours, a little bit longer, but gotta take care of the house. Thank you, guys. Stay with me.